What's up, YouTube? How is everyone? Oh, it's just me and you. How we doing? How we doing? All right? Good.
Not so bad. Not so bad. It's been a rough couple of days with the man flu. You know, that's like the worst flu that you can get. So I didn't think I was going to make it this evening, but I didn't want to let the lads down, the team down. So forgive me for my sniffles, but we'll see how tonight goes. I'm looking forward to it.
We've got a good show lined up. We've got all sorts on, all sorts. We've got Thought Bubble covers, loads of other stuff. We are waiting for Tom. He's literally just finished one of his 7 jobs. He's just having something to eat. So we'll start on now. He'll jump on when he's out of the bath. But so yeah, you've been ill this week.
Yes, been ill. Last couple of days off work. Back tomorrow. And yeah, luckily it's not COVID. I have been tested, did get the results back, so I was happy enough about that. But yeah, just a bad case of the man flu.
Well, you know, I had norovirus on Sunday, and I was all right on Tuesday. And I tell you what, that was worse than having COVID for me. Like,
really?
I was double jabbed when I had COVID and stuff. And luckily, I know there's, like, for instance, I think Fuzzy Dunlop had it and really suffered with it. And obviously various other people have suffered with it. But I was lucky enough. I was all right. But then this norovirus knocked me for 6. I had nothing left. Nothing left at all.
The killer comic shows just became wimps. That's what it is. That's what I'm hearing here.
It is. We've got the killer colds, the killer sniffles. We've got everything else. But we normally start with what have we picked up this week. So, go on. As you're not feeling very well, I'm going to let you go first. So, what did you pick up this week? What did you pick up, considering you probably didn't leave the house?
So,
go on.
No, that's the thing. It's like when you've got nothing much else to do, and I don't like not being busy. So the only thing I had to resort to was eBay. So there was a lot of eBay purchases going on. So first up, and I posted a lot of these on my Instagram. So forgive me if you've already seen this, but I picked up another Spawn figure by Todd McFarlane, Gunslinger Spawn, which is absolutely superb. And you can see just behind me there, we've got Violator, which is a big boy, to say the least. And I think up there somewhere is the clown. It might be the other side. I'm like, anybody watching, I'm just going like this. But yeah, really, really delighted. And I'll be taking this out of the box, of course, and displaying it properly. So really happy to pick that up.
Here he is.
Oh,
hello, mate.
Yo.
How are we doing?
We're good. You've literally just jumped in at the right. You always top us, right? So I've let Andy go first. You can go last this week, Tom.
Okay, mate, yeah. I've got nothing anyway.
Okay, all right, mate.
The most important question is, though, Tom, what did you have for your dinner?
Well, salmon and vegetables.
And that's how he gets the guns. That is it.
Look at those bad
And
boys.
the spinach. All the spinach, mate.
And the
All
spinach.
the Popeye. No, it's good. It's good to see you there, Tom. Next up, World War Hulk. This is issue number 2.
This has been going balmy, hasn't it?
Yeah, so this is, I just picked this up. This is the 1 in 25, the John Romita Jr. cover. And I think I picked this up for £2.75. So I really couldn't not pick this up. It would have been a shame if I'd have missed it. Speaking of World War Hulk, I picked up Marvel Spotlight.
That Michael Turner cover, mate.
Nice. And this is a cheapest chips book. I mean, this again is a couple of quid on eBay right now if you went to look for it. But I think a lot of people are maybe missing this one and just going straight for issue 1. So happy with that. Marvel Team Up. This is issue number 53. A nice sense copy, and this is the first time John Byrne done X-Men artwork for Marvel. Again, this was a cheapest chips buy. Warlock is going a bit crazy at the minute, so I picked up my second copy of Marvel Team Up issue number 55. Not in the best of condition, but it's a nice little newsstand, and it's a sense copy as well, which everybody seems to be going for these days. So, Watcher, everybody's going crazy for the Watcher, and so have I. I've been trying to pick up as many covers as I can. Marvel Team Up, issue 127. So this was like a Christmas special. Spider-Man and the Watcher team up. So just bought that pure cover buy because the Watcher.
Nice cover, though. It is a nice cover.
Yeah,
I like that he's going for the Doctor Doom colours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
The Watcher. What if the Watcher was Doctor Doom?
He's got the same size of guns as you have as well, Tom. Constantly, yo. Next up, and I really like this cover. This is like another team up. You should definitely check out Volume 2 and Volume 1 of Marvel Team Up because some of the covers and the stories are absolutely
Are
fantastic.
they on a swing? Looks like they're on a swing.
That's the elongated Mr.
They're having all kinds of fun. All kinds of
Yeah,
fun.
It looks like he's kind of like ready to like.
yeah. Pew, pew, pew. I love the artwork on this. It actually reminds me. I don't even know who is the artist on this. It reminded me a little bit of McFarlane. Some of the Spider-Man esque. But a lovely, nice white cover on this as well, and it's in really good condition, and it's a Sense copy. So that's issue 132 for anybody who's looking for that. Another What If cover, so number 53, and this is What If, and this is like 3 bone-chilling tales of alternate realities. So couldn't resist to pick that bad boy
Check
up.
out the eyebrows on him. His eyebrows are massive on that.
Do you know, I didn't notice that, but I'm not going to be able not to see that now every time I get that cover.
It looks like Basil 40.
And he's got a touch. He's got a full-on like touch job.
Another Watcher cover.
Oh, this one.
I put this up recently on my Instagram. So What If No One Is Watching The Watcher? Issue number 34. Nice homage there, as you quite rightly said, Charlie, on my Instagram.
What if the Watcher was Marilyn?
I picked this up for the wife. She's a big Dune fan. She loves the movie that's just come out. And this is Dune, House of Atreides. I think this is issue 5. I think this is issue 5. But this cover is absolutely stunning. This also comes as a Virgin variant as well, which I'm looking out for. But the eyes on this are absolutely
That's
beautiful.
so clever, the way they pop the head, and then the actual arch is what can complete the circle of the head.
Yeah, and
That's
also
really clever.
it looks like the sand dunes is like our which is pretty cool.
So clever.
I got Thor issue number 140, a nice 12-cent cover.
That's a nice cover.
The Growing Man, first appearance, I believe.
Is that cover? Is that meant to be a white cover, Andy, or is it naturally?
It's,
no, because I was going to say,
white.
If that looks great, like if that was a white cover, I don't think it'd be as. It wouldn't be as aesthetic as it is.
See all the
tan
here, because I think it's obviously not been in a bag and it's been sitting. It's just naturally. Because I don't even know how old this is. This must be what, 60s, 70s.
If anyone in the chat knows, drop it in.
Not too sure. Couple of more guys. Adventures of Superman, issue 463. I just love this cover. So this is one of the races between Superman and the Flash. And then I picked up Wonder Woman issue 188, another Adam Hughes cover. Absolutely love the Adam Hughes covers that he does.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's nice. And last but not least, I picked up the absolutely fantastic The Impending Blindness of Billy Scott. This is by Zoe Thorogood, who we've done one of our creator spotlights on. Will also be at Thought Bubble. And I believe that Zoe's actually opening up 3 commission spots on Monday for Thought Bubble. So definitely go and check it out on Instagram. And if you're interested in getting a commission done and picking it up at Thought Bubble, then that's the way to go. But
that came pretty quick, didn't it? That came pretty quick, didn't it?
Super quick, yeah. And it was a really good price. Avery Press were doing 25% off. I don't know if they're still doing it, but I'd highly recommend this. I've read this before, and it's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So I think what we can take away from your pickups, Andy, is that Lady Perpetual must absolutely hate you being ill, because not only do you not do anything around the house, you mope around in your bed, but your bank card takes a battering.
Absolutely. It's literally just sulking, feeling sorry for myself, and spending money that I can't afford.
Yeah, well, that's what
what we all do.
That's what we all do.
That's true.
But the chat seems banging. They're interested in your stuff. We've got Triple G Comics. Massive shout out to Triple G, man. Like, honestly, when you think this guy's got nothing left in the tank, he just drops a video like that and just puts a smile back on everyone's face. Like, that was just, I was interested. I watched it about 3 times, how he got himself on the camera twice. I was pushing himself off. I'm like, how's he doing this? He's great. Loved it. If you ain't checked him out, head over to YouTube, Triple G Comics, and just check out this Halloween sing along. We've got Rob Matthews. Good evening, Triple G. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Rob. Mark Oldwood, another good video you dropped the other day, mate. Really enjoyed that. Connie, thank you very much for checking in. Enjoyed you on the Nerd Herd last night. That was a a pretty good watch. Got to say, Phil's face paint was pretty impressive, to be fair.
The scary thing is it took me a good 5 or 6 minutes before I realised that he was wearing face paint. I was like, what's going on?
He intricate and just did in between his beard as well.
Yeah,
So,
and Connie has fantastic, impeccable taste. You
Mm-hmm.
should definitely go and add Connie on Instagram. Some of the books that she's been picking up that she shows off, and she was obviously reviewing Witches, which is one of my favourite Snyder and Jock books. So
it was great. Lucy, you all need some Barocca. Yeah, we do. Do you know what? We are all weak men that need Barocca, and yeah, enough said on that. Will be that will have to go.
What's that?
Yeah. Dawn of Comics. I know you love superheroes, but you didn't have to go and catch the super cold Andy. There we go.
Oh.
See, Andy's dying inside. He's got the killer cold, as you like to call it.
Killer cold.
We've got Leon Russell. Evening, everyone. Have I tuned into the wrong show? It's just the old men moan about their ailments podcast. That's on Saturday. That's the one we're doing on Saturday. This is just a warm up. We've got. There is. You did you comment before you checked in, Tom?
No, I came on first before I
Okay.
commented. Don't worry. I made sure I was here first.
Now we've got the noob. Now he dropped a comment on last week's video that literally blew mine and Andy's mind. Like, yeah, it was what was it? It was about May's book number 2, wasn't it? And he said,
yeah, because I think I kept saying how May's book issue 1 was so familiar and so pretty much the same vibe as issue number 2. And I think Sean had suggested that maybe that's the whole point is like a maze. You're just going round in circles and you feel as if everything's familiar. And as soon as I read that on the comment on YouTube, I kind of just sat there and went, why did I not think of that? I mean, it just blew my mind. So fair play to him.
That was good. We've got our friend of the show, is the one and only Jeremy Holt.
Yeah.
He is the writer of the fantastic Made in Korea. Thank you for joining, sir. Hope everything's going well. Hope them to Marvel's jobs that you went for. I hope we get some good news for that. So I'm looking forward to hearing you from that. Connor Dalton, yeah, that Doom cover is very nice. It is very nice indeed. I'm looking forward to seeing the film. You know, but I am very much looking forward to seeing it. And there we go. Look, it gives you another flash there. Triple G likes your Thor book. I like that cover, to be fair.
I'll give Triple G a flash of my Thor book.
I think if it was white.
Giving Triple G a flash of your
it would look there. There we go. GP Venom and Collectibles. He obviously won the giveaway last week of the Alan Quay signed book. But yeah, that arrived safe and sound today. So nice one on that, mate. We've got Captain Comics, Ahoy, Mates and Mermaids, and who else have we got? I think we've got John Bromley. Good evening, sir. Good evening. Thank you very much for joining. Everyone's favourite 21-year-old shuttlecock player. It is Fuzzy Dunlop. How are you doing, Fuzzy? Hope you are well, mate. There we go. I agree. The tanning on the white of the Thor book makes it look better. It does. Someone's been at it with a tea bag. You know, when you was at school and you used to wet the old tea bag. Someone's done that.
It's like you're making like. Do you remember you used to make the old maps when it was just me when I was at school? Like you get the tea bag and start burning it and stuff like that.
But I reckon someone's been at it 3 or 4 times. So that's it.
Moving on.
All right, moving swiftly on. We are moving swiftly on, and I think Tom, do you want to show what you've got? You can crack on and show what you've got, mate.
I've got pretty much nothing. Really, I got the Saga Compendium issue 1. Well, Compendium 1 last week. So this collects all of the issues of Saga so far. I don't know if any of you guys have read Saga, but this is one of the best books I've ever read. Brian K. Vaughan is an absolute genius. Yeah, it is well worth picking up if you've not read it.
First volume, I think I have. Tom, how many volumes is in that? Did you say?
So there's 54 issues in this one big book.
In that, wow.
In this, 54 issues.
That's a compendium. It's the compendium, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a compendium because I've got volume 1 that I got a few years ago off a really close friend of mine who got it signed by Brian K. Vaughan. So I've got that special and I've never read it. I've only read them like single issues. So when I was like, I need a collection really, I couldn't bring myself to buy the volumes. And I thought as soon as this dropped, I was like, yeah, okay, I have a diamond account. I'll get this bad boy. Why not?
Nice.
So yeah, treated myself to it.
GP's just read the first 10 issues of Saga, and it's brilliant.
I'll tell you what, like the best way to describe it is it's kind of like a fantasy style Romeo and Juliet.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Nice.
it's basically two warring races that don't really know what they're warring about, and they're like a member of each race get together and they have a baby, and it's all about the baby. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like Triple G's just done the same thing. He's just got the compendium to read.
Yeah.
I think I need
That's
to
the
jump
only
on
one
this.
I have. That's it. That's the only one I have.
And then we've got Connie. Saga is next on my list to read after Deadly Class. I've been debating getting a compendium, but I don't want to wait for compendium 2. That's the thing. If you don't want to wait,
it won't be a very long time, to be fair.
And to pass the time, you could always just pick up Invincible compendium. Yeah, the Invincible compendium, which is about 175,000 books, because it's like this big.
Yeah, the next set of Saga starts in January with issue 55. That's their first next step, and they'll continue that on. But yeah, so I'd get on it now, Connie, if I was you, and read all this before the first issue comes out.
And it's only a $2.99 cover price as well, which is fantastic. And there's no reprints as well.
Nope.
No.
And then I got this little joy in the post today. I wonder who may have sent me this. Yeah.
enjoy.
It's stunning, mate.
Funnily enough, I did get an email from. Sorry, guys. I did get an email from 2000 AD to say that they apologised again and they're going to send another copy to me. So whenever that copy arrives, I'll wait until we go live and I'll open it live on air to see what condition it's in. And there may or may not be another giveaway.
I think it's great, mate. I mean, obviously it's got a dink in the corner. But that's fine. I don't care. I love it. I think it's great. And it's nice to have something from Perpetual. And I'm hoping that you'll sign it for me when I see you at Thought Bubble.
Absolutely, mate. It'd be my honour.
Yeah, right. That's it. That's all I've got. I do have lots of stuff next week because Not Quite Mint had the biggest delivery it's ever had yesterday.
That was just my pull list, though, wasn't it? Was it just my pull list?
It's massive, mate. I did not expect to get like over 900 comics yesterday. It was ridiculous.
Wow. So then I guess that just leaves me with my pull.
Yes, mate. Yeah, what you got?
So,
what are you pulling? What are you pulling off?
After seeing what Andy sent you, I'm pretty disappointed. He sent it to me, but he didn't bag and board it. So we clearly know that Tom's the favourite. Okay, so it's all right. No, I'm only joking, Andy. Thanks for this, mate. As I said to you before we started, right? I've never read a Judge Dredd book. I've seen the films and everything, but I've never actually sat down. I've probably skimmed through them. Like my dad used to have loads of them, but I've probably skimmed through them. But I'm looking forward to reading it. And the first thing I did when I got this was smell it, because it just it smells proper old. It smells like it was from 2000 AD. I'm really looking forward to reading it. So thanks, mate.
See, you're welcome. I didn't bag and board yours because I knew you like to give your books a good thumbing. So
here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to, as Jock said, he said, like, roll it up and make sure you whack it in the back pocket. And that's what I'm going to do, because this book, it's got a couple of dings in it, but it's going to have more than that. So I'm going to read this. Looking forward to that. So massive thanks for sending me to that.
Oh, and ABZ one, is it?
And I got sent this as well. Right, this is Fuzzy Dunlop, mate. Absolutely, shout out. I let him know that I wanted it, and he sent it to me. He was like, "Do you know what? I'm not bothered about chases," so he sent it to me, and he sent me this Harley Quinn soda pop chase. Look at that, awesome, and it's. What is it? 1 in 6,000, 1 in 600, I think this is.
Nice.
Yeah, the chase. 1 in 900. She's metallic. And as a little added bonus, he sent me another Harley Quinn soda pop as well. So massive shout out to Fuzzy Dunlop for being a legend. Massive shout out to Andy for being a pussy because he's got a cold and sending me that comic. But yeah, it's pretty cheap week this week, to be fair. I think Andy, eBay took the brunt of it from your wallet.
Yeah, big time. Actually, those what are those called? Soda can pop?
Funko sodas.
Funko soda.
I actually happened to show my wife the one that you had there, because she's a big Harley Quinn fan. I think that might be a rabbit hole that will be happening quite soon. And then you told me they were $12.99 each, and I nearly the Scotsman in me
Yeah.
collapsed. I was like, what?
$12.99 each, but the detailing on them is so much. Like, I went from collecting Funko Pops to collecting these now because I was speaking to Fuzzy earlier, and the soda can on its own, I mean, the detailing on that is pretty decent. Like, with a Funko box, you get it's a box. With this, the detailing on it is a soda can. There's more to it, and then the detailing on these soda pops as well is decent. Like, really, really good.
Yeah, I'm
So,
going
and
to have to pick one up, I think.
yeah, go for it.
Oh man.
But who else? Yeah, Real Rude joined us. Nice one, dude. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
But yeah, I think that's it from the pickups. It was a pretty short week. Obviously, Andy's got his 152 comics that he normally pulls through. But guys, it's getting to that point, so let's just sit back, fasten your seatbelts. There we are. I love that. I've got to say, I do love that intro, man. So I want my car to make that noise. Yeah. But yeah, Road to Thought, things are back to normal now. Andy is back at the helm for the Road to Thought bubble, which I'm glad about because I kind of struggled last week. I put everything together, yet I was just like a little lamb in the headlights. Didn't know what to do without my dad holding my hand, and I'm glad Andy's back now. So who have you picked this week, Andy?
We have picked Becky Cloonan, who is an absolutely fantastic writer. Now, I might struggle through this, lads, so I might need a little bit of backup, to be honest with you. But Becky is an award-winning cartoonist and illustrator, and she attended the New York School of Visual Arts. Her first solo graphic novel, East Coast Rising, was released by Tokyo Pop in 2006, and she's the first woman to have drawn the main Batman title in 2012, which is one of the books that will actually feature as part of this. And in 2015, she was voted number 3 of the top 50 female comic artists of all time, and one of only 2 creators to make the list as both writer and artist.
That's an achievement.
It's absolutely
she's pretty legendary,
unbelievable.
to be fair.
Absolutely, she is an absolutely amazing creator, and one that I was really looking forward to doing the spotlight on, because I'll freely admit that I haven't read a lot of the books that she's written, but I have bought quite a few of her covers because that's where I'd have known her from. So as soon as I realised that she was going to be going to Thought Bubble, I was absolutely delighted. So you'll see there some of the covers that she's done for The Punisher, The Wicked and the Divine, Vampire 1976, the most recent, one of the recent Scott Snyder books, and the last book I can't remember the name of. Charlie, help me. Can't remember.
I can't think.
Yeah, that
full of information on this show, aren't
we? We are, yeah, struggling. And I would highlight. Do you know what that book is?
No, but you didn't ask me for help.
That's because I knew you would know what it was. I'm sorry, Tom. Wait a minute, Tom. Do you know what the name of that book?
No, I don't.
Oh, cool. Instagram.com /Becky.
He's got the other.
You with your mouth full. Stop eating with your mouth full. And Twitter.com /Becky Cloonan. I'd highly recommend, guys, you go and follow Becky on both those social medias, because the stuff that she puts out is absolutely fantastic. First up is Jenny, Channel Zero Jenny 1. So the first couple of books that Jenny would have been involved, or that Becky would have been involved in, is with Brian Wood. So the first couple that were going to come up, this was the first one in 2003. And I'd never heard of this publisher. It's AIT Planet Slar.
Oh, yeah, I know them.
Really?
Yeah. Don't.
He's on the wind up today, isn't he? But it was an absolute struggle to try and find that on Google to put these slides together, but I eventually did. But yeah, this was the first one that Becky had done the art for, and Brian Wood had done the story. And the next one was the second book that she had done with Brian Wood. And this time she done the art and the cover art for this. So this is issue number 1. This was a 12-issue series. called Demo, and it is absolutely fantastic. I've read the first couple of issues of this book. Highly recommend it. It's out in trade paperback as well if you're looking to find it, and it would probably be a good one to get signed by Becky at Thought Bubble as well, because some of the covers are absolutely stunning for it. Tom, is this a book that you've read? Have you heard this?
Yeah, I've read this one. Great book.
Cool, you have.
I
2006.
actually have read this one.
This one, yeah. So you can tell us about it then. So East Coast Rising, this was the trade paperback, Volume 1, 2006. And this, as I mentioned, was Becky not only writing, doing the art and the cover art for this. And this was actually nominated for an Eisner Award in 2007 for Best New Series. So Tom, let the people know.
I haven't read it.
Thanks, Tom. Next one.
He's on a wind up. He is on a wind up today, and he's had 2 hours sleep, and he's on a wind up.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the Wolves issue number 1 from 2017. That's actually one that I have, which is absolutely fantastic. It's like a little miniature size comic, and these three books were just one shots that Becky would have done, where she both done the writing and done the art for them. So there's the Meyer issue number 1 from 2013. There's is this Demeter? Yeah, issue number 1 again from 2013, and Wolves issue number 1 is 2017. So I plan to take Wolves issue number 1 to Thought Bubble to get signed.
Did you say it was a mini book, mate? Like a mini?
Yeah.
Demeter was one of the first comics I read of Becky Cloonan's, and I think because like we'll see it in the next slides and stuff, but the way that she kind of wrote this, like I think she's going back. I think she's like a fisherman's daughter or something, or she's a wife to a fisherman, and he's out at sea and she finds something under the water bubbling, and all like the supernatural and stuff comes together. I really enjoyed that. And then I think a couple of years ago she did some of the next slides that we've got, and you can really see the similarity between the art that she's done here, and the art that she did in 2019, I think it was, for a comic that we're going to touch on now. But Demeter, I really enjoyed that. Like, I thought it was a great comic.
Yeah, these would be definitely worth picking up. The artwork specifically, I can only tell you, but the artwork in Wolves is phenomenal. It's a lovely thing to actually own, because you can see there's been a lot of care been put into the creation of it. So, Connie's saying there the covers are cool.
And off my shelves,
wicked.
I think that cover was the Woods. There we go. Look, off my shelves.
It was the Woods. Yes.
There we go.
Good man.
There we go.
Good man.
Wolves does look interesting, Connie. It does look interesting, doesn't it? It kind of looks like a cross between like Berserker and Wolverine, Old Man Wolverine,
or some kind of like Viking style book.
Yeah.
That's what Tom looks
Berserker.
like after his, it is. That's what Tom looks like after he's finished a 27-hour shift.
Pretty much.
and he's on his way home.
Ready to kill.
Pretty much.
Up next. This is the one, isn't it?
So this is the one that a lot of people maybe be more familiar with Becky for. So this was the start of, or the epilogue, the prelude to the Court of Owls, and it's Batman issue number 12 from the New 52 run. I think there was multiple covers for this, and again you can get it cheap as chips on eBay. I don't actually own a copy of this, but my plan is to pick up a nice copy if I can. This might be, and we'll talk about this later on, but this might be the book that I get signed to then get graded, potentially. But I've still not made my mind up. So, yeah.
Do you know what I like about this? I like the old DC Comics logo in the top.
Yeah. I like the old. I don't like the new DC logo.
No, I was fond of that DC Comics logo. Yeah. But
I should have really thought about that because I put the new DC logo on that Schoolboy Era.
Shocking. See, you had one job, Andy. One job.
No, I know. I'm sorry.
There we go. This is what I was talking about.
Yeah. And now that you mention it, it's something that I didn't even notice putting these together is the similarities between the work that she's done back then to the work for Reaver. So this was released by Skybound, and it was Justin Jordan who done the writing, and Becky done the cover art. And the covers for these are absolutely fantastic. There's not one bad one. Do you know, sometimes when you get a run of covers, you go, well, you know, I can take or leave one or two of them, but as far as I'm concerned, every one of these is an absolute banger. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I'd agree, mate. The artwork is absolutely stunning. She's got a very like Japanese manga-esque style to her
Very
drawings.
distinctive, isn't it?
Yeah, it
I've
is really.
really-
I really like it.
I really enjoyed these comics. I kind of picked this up. It was on my pull list, like number 1, 2, 3, 4, and I read it, and then it kind of fell by the wayside. But seeing these covers again, I kind of want to read the story again because it's an interesting story. It is. I think it's about a group of Vikings or Norse mythology kind of people that kind of tie in, and then they're on their way, like out of a castle, and they're all like misfits and stuff, a bit like us guys. But it's an interesting story. It is an interesting story, and I think each cover signifies the key character in that issue.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, like definitely, if you ain't read this, I'll pick it up because I think you can probably find them in £1.50 bins.
Yeah,
Like,
it's definitely not an expensive book. I don't think. I think I like issue 2 the best out of that selection. I think there's something nice about the background and the hair.
Is he talking about us?
Yeah.
Shane, please confirm if you are talking about us or the comic covers. I'm going to go with the latter, but we'll soon find out. Yeah, I've got to agree. I think some of them covers, they are great. They are.
I absolutely love the one on the far right. He looks absolutely beastly. I wouldn't want to get into a fight with him.
He looks a little bit like Tim.
He does, doesn't he? He does look a bit like Tim too. He does, but he hasn't got the highlights in the beard though. Tim's got
the hat.
Or the hat. Tim's got like nice highlights. I think Lucy gave him nice even highlights. But yeah, let's moving on.
So yeah, I just wanted to pick out some of the nice covers. There's so many to choose from that Becky's done, but these are some of the highlights for me. There we go. So this was Hack and Slash. This was issue number 10, cover B. So this was open order. This book, so it wasn't an incentive or anything like that. And this was written by Tim Seeley and Steve Seeley. The cover art by Becky, and I think this is phenomenal. Again, it's a book that you can look at 2 or 3 times and see different things. The first for me was obviously the character in the foreground with the black hair, but then you just realise that she's kind of holding the head of some sort of demented zombie behind her. And I don't think you see that the first time you look at it. At least I didn't. Maybe that's because I'm loaded with a cold, but I think it's stunning.
This wouldn't look out of place with these
on that list. Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Like it wouldn't, and I think you can. In her early days, from the first comic that she did, it was very black and white sketch. As she's moved on, you know what a Becky Cloonan comic is now, right? So
I think it looks very much like Danny as well. I see similarities between the two, especially with this cover.
Yeah, oh, definitely. So what's that? /10 cover B.
Yeah,
and then look at this. This
is one of my favourites that I didn't even know existed. Cool, to be honest, which is the beauty of going through and trying to do these slides. But this is issue number 1 from Witches. And I know that there was a huge amount of covers that were done for this run. And this was a Hastings exclusives variant from 2014.
Are Hastings even still going?
I don't even know. I'd never heard of them, to be honest with you.
I've got a couple of Hastings, like Deadpool covers, exclusive covers. I didn't even think they were still going.
Yeah. Because I had a quick look on eBay just to see if I could find any, because I love the cover that much. I was thinking maybe that's another book that I could potentially get signed, but they're few and far between. So if anybody does know where to find this, slip into my DMs, please.
That's interesting what Shane said.
Roll in there, mate.
I have one issue of Hack Slash because Gertrude from I Hate Fairyland is on the cover. I'd love to see that.
Really?
Shane, if you can send that to me, I'd love to see that because I've literally recently started reading I Hate Fairyland.
Have you never read it before, Charlie?
I have, and I read it. I started reading it again. I picked it up on eBay for like £3.50 for the first volume.
Say, if you've never read it before, you are in for a treat, mate. It's such a good book.
Scotty Young at his finest. It's amazing. Yeah. But this, I've literally just looked at this and realised there's 4 pairs of hands.
Yeah.
Where's the 4? Hold on. Oh yeah,
I'm actually pointing at the screen as if people can actually see me pointing at the screen.
I'm there.
Look at the eyes in the cover though. The eyes are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's really creepy. Now I've noticed all 4 hands.
Mm-hmm.
This is a book I really need to read.
Yeah, which is You haven't just started. What have you just started reading again, Andy?
From Jock, Faker.
Faker. All right. Yeah, this looks good. Hastings 4. Nice.
Yes.
Look at this.
Now, does this or does this not have a little bit of Jenny Frisson
I was
going on
just
about it?
thinking the same thing.
Can you just say that one more time?
Tom, for you, anytime. Jenny Frisson. This is Wonder Woman issue 779. And I think this is amazing, absolutely phenomenal. Interestingly enough, Jordie Bellaire was involved in writing in this book. And Jordie Bellaire is mostly known for her colour work. But I think Becky's absolutely knocked this one out the park. Again, the eyes, I think you can tell a Becky Cloonan artwork just by the eyes alone. If you look back in the covers that we've looked at before, I just think the eyes give it away. You could lift and shift them, effectively.
Yeah,
Lift and shift them.
And what Shane just said,
Came at work.
that reminds me of the cover B for Rebirth Harley Quinn when she's resting on severed hands. Yeah, do you know what? That is
Oh, I don't
very
know if I've
similar
seen
to
that.
this one. That is very similar. But yeah, you can see what you mean about the eyes, Andy. Like, they're the same eyes.
Pretty much.
Wonderful thing.
They are, yeah. This looks great though.
That would be the sort of book that would it would kind of follow you, you know. You would just move around and just keep watching you.
Imagine if that was a foil, or they would glow in the dark.
It's a shame that DC and Marvel don't do foil covers anymore, or like metal covers, because that would be absolutely stunning as a purple kind of foil cover.
Yeah.
But speaking of purple foil covers, the Boom Studios one for the House of Slaughter is absolutely amazing, and I can imagine if they'd have done this like that, it would be stunning. It really.
Have you got one handy to show? Or not?
No, I'm going to bring one. I'm going to bring them all with me next week, like all of the variants, everything.
That Wonder Woman would look perfect on the cover of a Justice League Dark issue. It actually would, to be fair.
Yeah, to be fair.
It's kind of a Jim Lee. It's got a bit of Jim Lee about it as well.
Yeah. No, it's a nice cover. When is that from? What's that? 2000 and
this year? It was just recently. It's a recent book.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
You could have ordered it.
Look at this.
Basket full of heads, issue number 4. This was one of my favourite covers for this particular series, and we're doing one of the follow-ups by Joe Hill on this episode. So I could not pick this book out. Again, look at the heads inside the basket, and tell me it's not the exact same eyes that we've seen on all the other covers. It is absolutely 100% Becky Cloonan through and through, and I absolutely adore this cover.
I absolutely love the axe. The detail she's gone into on the axe is insane.
Yeah.
Like the Norse runes it's not easy to draw Norse runes at all. So that's amazing.
I think this one came as a Virgin variant as well, if I can remember rightly. And I think the character was in the foreground, so do you know, like you can see the tree branch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think she was in the foreground, and again, this would have been another great book to do as a foil if you just done the yellow jacket as a complete foil.
Yeah.
Why are we not working in comics, lads?
That's the one you should.
Oh, we are sort of. Kind of.
That's the one you should get signed off my shelf.
one?
I said, yeah,
Cool.
That beardy guy in the beard looks happy to be. Too happy for a severed head. He does, doesn't he?
He does actually, yeah.
He's loving life. He's getting ahead of himself there. But yeah, this was what Joe Hill entered Hill House Comics with for DC Black Label. If you ain't picked this up yet and read this, please do, because it's one of my favourite comics. It's amazing. It's honestly the graphics in it, the narrative, the drawing, the line work, everything in it is awesome. So yeah, if you ain't read this, give it a read. But yeah, wicked cover. And then that was it. That's all the covers. But then obviously we are now getting to the business end of Thought Bubble. It's 2 weeks away now, lads?
It is. It's officially the final countdown to the weekend that we've opened. It seems to be we've been speaking about for the last year, and certainly we've been pulling these creator spotlights for the last sort of maybe 13, 14 weeks, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, if you go to the Thought Bubble website, they've released the maps of the 3 rooms that are going to be available, and I just wanted to use this opportunity to pick out where Becky's actually going to be. So it's going to be at table 146B, and that's in the Red Shirts Hall. So if you go to the website, you can actually download the maps for each of the rooms, save it onto your phone or whatever, but make sure if you are going to Thought Bubble, go to table 146B. And just let them know that you heard about Becky through our show, and that would be fantastic. We're definitely going to go and say hello and stuff like that, and yeah, real looking forward to it.
And Andy, again, you've hit the nail on the head. Mark has just said, as usual, Andy, a great segment. Just picked up Reva 1 to 6 for £12, and Wonder Woman 779 for £4.50 on my pile for Thought Bubble. I love it when we do stuff like this on the show. I love it when we kind of it transcends to people and we get them spending money. Love that.
And let us know what you think of those books, because Reaver I haven't read all those issues. I mean, by all means, if once you've read them and you want to give us a review and you want to pop on, just let us know. We'd love to hear what you think. Oh,
great. But I know we said we got loads of stuff planned for you, and obviously this is the second to last show before Thought Bubble. I think it is. We are gonna be doing like a Thought Bubble post show and everything, and we'll go around and we'll chat to you and all that, and we'll get stuff done. But we've got something else lined up for Thought Bubble as well. So we've been speaking with a fantastic guy, Mr. Plume, Tim Plume, and for the next segment of the show, we are going to get him on. So without further ado, Tim. How are you doing, sir?
How are you guys? You all right?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. I've sort of kept you backstage for nearly an hour.
That's not a problem at all.
I was appreciating the highlights now.
That's all right. It's good. It's good. We featured you earlier in the show. We done like I think it was a homage cover with yourself, and I think Lucy noticed that it was your profile shot that someone had took when you was at the barbers one day. But the only thing missing was the highlights in your chin and the hat that you wear. So, but I know you are very, very busy, mate. So thank you for taking the time to join us. So obviously, we've got Thought Bubble coming up on the 12th, 13th, and 14th of November, and you're going to be there, aren't you?
I am. I wasn't planning to be. Things have changed a little bit. Too good a lineup not to be there. So I'm really pleased to say I'm going to be there just for the one day, probably half of the day, but I'll be showing myself, showing my face.
Hope you're not showing yourself. You might get chucked out.
One of the big questions, I'm sure that maybe people who haven't, heard of Hobgoblins Hideaway, like Tim, do you just want to maybe take a few minutes just to let everybody know who you are, what the Hobgoblins Hideaway is, and what you do?
Yeah, of course. So ultimately, I'm a comic book collector. I'm a comic book fan. We set up the Hobgoblins Hideaway about a year ago now, just to kind of fill a gap within the comic community on Facebook. I'm a CBCS dealer myself and facilitator, so that's always been one angle that I cover. I'm also a comic book dealer as well as a collector, so we just try to combine it all within the group and give everybody somewhere that they could go without judgment and go without where they could ask any question they want, and they're not going to get kind of vilified for not knowing how the industry works or how graded comic works. And we've built a really awesome little community. And now we do live shows as well. I know you guys have mentioned them a couple of times. We do monthly live shows where we combine, this month especially, we're going to combine loads of cheap comics from £1 to £5. And we're going to then go straight into our raw key comics. We're going to go into the sets. We're going to go into graded books. So we've got lots of stuff going on for everybody, but it keeps us busy, like you said.
That's honestly, that's great. And I think there's loads coming up. And we've got you on tonight because obviously at Thought Bubble, Andy, again, the man of all these thoughts and dreams, came up with the idea of a little thing that we could do. We all pick a book, get it slabbed, CBS, and we document the process and stuff like that. So obviously a few people out there would like, how do we go about getting our books graded? So take it away, Tim. I've set up a slide. You just roll with it, mate.
No worries at all. So we've always tried to take the hassle out of graded comics for everybody. Until recently, we did all the paperwork. All you have to do is get us your book. We'll then research what variant it was. We'll research what year it was published. And we'll get all the paperwork done. Recently, we've introduced a new form, a submission form. And that's just to kind of make the process a little bit more efficient for ourselves and speed up the process. So You can join our group, the Hobgoblins Hideaway on Facebook. Pinned in the announcements is a submission form, and we're always welcoming submissions. We're on a slight break at the moment, and we've got our next submission probably going in January at the end of that. Obviously, what we're going to do for you guys is a little bit separate from that at the moment. But yeah, we're welcome, and we'll always take submissions from anybody. We'll talk you through it. We'll talk you through what your prices of your comics are, what grades we think you might be able to achieve, to then help you price them up and know what tier they've got to go into, because it can be an absolute minefield for anyone that's jumped into graded comics before, especially on their own. It can be really difficult to know where to turn and know where to place your books.
Well,
Yeah.
I submitted a couple of books with you, Tim, back in like a mid last year, and you were good. And they were the first books I ever had CGC'd, and you were so good with me, really patient with my questions, and they were the best books I own. I mean, I've got a 9.9 Disney signed by Humberto Ramos, and I own that one. Big star, mate.
That was an awesome result, buddy.
Yeah.
When that one come back, we were blown away by it, because there's a lot of 9.8s on that. We were really pleased to be part of that process for you, buddy, especially with your Transformers books as well.
Yeah. If you haven't seen The Grown Man Cry, go over to Not Quite Minty, watch that video.
But do you know what? We've had a lot of compliments from the group, and it's not why we do it, but we take a lot of pride in getting the comments from people when, you know, they're turning around and they feel that we've helped them in something they might not have done before, or made it easy for them when they've struggled previously. So that sort of stuff is what the group is all about.
Yeah.
Oh, is he on mute? I think
he might be on mute. Yeah.
There we go. Sorry,
Just chatting away to himself.
As GP Venom just said, I know where I'm going to be sending my Marvels #1. So Tim will probably drop you a message so he can send you that.
No problem at all.
But yeah, so obviously fill out the submission form and then get stuff sorted that way. And then what everyone wants to know, how much? Oh, is it dropped off again? Oh no, what's going on there? Why is it not? Is it? There we go.
It wouldn't be a decent show without a really bad sort of glitch of some sort.
Why is it not working? This is annoying.
Obviously we talked a little bit earlier about prices, didn't we?
Yes.
It's kind of just to let you guys know, with CBCS, they do slightly different variations of grading. Because of the setup they do something called verified signature. So you don't always have to have that book signed and witnessed in person by a facilitator. You know, there's a lot of comic books that were signed many, many decades ago,
there we go.
way before we had graded companies. So CBCS will allow you to submit those books. They'll then process them. They'll check them against the kind of BAS, the Becky authentication services. I can't even say that. And they'll check out your books for you. If they feel they are authentic signatures, they're going to give you a yellow label on that. And that's something great for books that, like I said, might date back, decades. I've got a book myself that was signed by Becky Cloonan.
Nice.
Long before the graded companies came along, and now it's in a nice yellow label sitting in my collection. So it's a really great opportunity. We can also do witnessed. Obviously, I will also go along to shows as well, where I can witness signatures myself and then send it directly to CBCS. That's always going to be a little bit cheaper because there's less work on the part of CBCS to actually process your books. As the prices you've got up there, we'll always include Fast Pass as well, although that is changing. We've just had notification before we came on air that is going to be changing. So we're going to be reworking our prices slightly. But the Fast Pass cuts the turnaround time in half.
Wow.
Okay.
So makes a massive difference to books that are getting submitted.
Tim, you're getting a load of questions here. Like we've got one from Wakeybox says, I'd love to get some on one graded, but worry about the shipping process and the turnaround times I've heard.
Okay, so the shipping process is straightforward. All you got to do is get it to me in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I'm covered for business freight insurance. There's a lot of people out there that send books over to the States that aren't getting them insured, and I would never ever recommend anyone do that. It only takes one accident and your books aren't coming back, and you've lost potentially thousands of pounds worth of comics. As a business, we've got complete freight insurance. So if you submit your books via us, they are completely covered should the worst ever happen. But touch wood, we haven't ever experienced that yet, but we do have the backup on us as well.
And then you've got the Poptimist. We'll have to investigate sending my one per store berserker. I think you're going to have quite a lot of orders, as if you ain't had any. A lot anyway, coming your way. We've got Dawn of Comics. I've always found it a bit confusing, so I've never sent anything to be graded. I have 3 copies of Batman Adventures 12. You lucky bastard. lucky bastard. And Adam Hughes, Harley Quinn 1, I kind of want to get graded.
I think the easiest thing to do is kind of head over to the Hobgoblins Hideaway, as you guys have mentioned already. Join the group, speak to myself, or reach out to my wife Lucy, reach out to one of us and just start that conversation. The door's always open to try and talk people through this process and make it simple as we can for them.
Oh, definitely. And then obviously Triple G. Sorry, Andy. Sorry. Go on, mate.
No, I was just going to say I put the link of the Facebook group in the chat there. So if anybody wants to go click on that and then just go add yourself to it, and you'll be able to go and ask Tim and Lucy all the questions that you want. And
then Triple G, look, Tim and Lucy are first class, great service and super friendly. Going to have lots of books coming your way from Thought Bubble for me, Tim. Here we go.
Excellent.
I think because you're going to be there, I think it's going to be. I'm looking forward to you being there because there's a few artists that I want to get signed and then obviously send you some books and stuff like that. And because you're witnessing it, I guess it slims the process down, I guess.
It does. With verification, it does normally add on a couple of weeks to the process, while they analyse the signatures. When it's witnessed, obviously they're going a lot of the time off to some extent, it's good faith. It's the same as CGC. We're not dealers without kind of being investigated as a business or researched. We don't get that status lightly. So then these graded companies have a lot of trust in us that we're going to shows and we're genuinely witnessing those signatures being done. And then it's not leaving our chain. The chain of kind of sight is never broken. It goes straight from us to the grading companies. And they have to have that trust in us as dealers. But then it does make it a bit cheaper. So, a kind of standard modern comic with a value up to about $250 is only 40 quid for a witness signature. And then obviously just £15 for the shipping. But that is fully insured from me to the US back to me. So I can do my final quality check that me and Lucy do here. And then we'll send it over to the customer. So there's multiple stages that you get for your money. And the price that you got on the screen did include Fast Pass until the change that kind of launched, like I said, about 10 minutes before the show.
I got that email as well. I think quite a few people got the email as well. But do you think, so off my shelves, he's got so many books. Do you think slabbing collected editions will ever be a thing?
My own personal opinion is no. I think with collected editions, the purpose is purely reading. And although that should be the purpose of most comic books anyway, I think the collected editions are very heavily along the lines of they're there to be read for the people that don't dare touch a normal comic. So I don't personally see it ever being a massive trend in getting graded collected editions.
I mean, and Dawn of Comics is also put up. Do you slab trading games and
trading games?
Do you slab games and trading cards? There we go.
Do you slab trading games?
Personally,
you don't.
No.
Is that becoming? Do you think CBCS will ever do that?
I don't know. Do you know what? They're playing catch up on CGC. They're a lot newer company, so they're still playing catch up. We still don't have a magazine-sized holder. So they've been planning that for the last 3 years. Every summer we promise that one's going to happen, and it's not happened yet. But they're trying to get every step right before they move on to the next thing. So I would say at this point, CBCS won't necessarily be involved, but obviously Becky, the guys that own CBCS, are heavily involved in the grading of sports cards and movie memorabilia. So I think that will always stay with them, and I don't necessarily think it will kind of cross over into the CBCS world, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, though. It is interesting. Well, I've just noticed we have Miss Latoya Morgan, the
Legend.
writer of the fantastic Dark Blood. I kind of went on a rant and asked Ross Ritchie and Boom Studios how the hell we can make this longer than 6 issues last night on Instagram. So he hasn't replied to me yet. That's probably because I've sent him about 6 bloody messages asking the same question.
Your restraining order's in the post, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello to my favourite comic book aficionados. Thank you so much for joining, Latoya. Sit back, enjoy the show. We're just talking about grading comics. But so obviously after all that, we do have the small print to get into. So do you just want to touch on like a bit of the legalities of everything, Tim, before you pop
Yeah,
off?
of course. You know, obviously CBCS, they've always kind of covered, they'll always cover themselves, so to speak. With any signature that's ever kind of submitted to them, they'll always put their name to it if they believe that that comic is an authentic, has got an authentic signature on it. Obviously, there will always be comics, and we've experienced it before, that have been signed in person. You know, we've seen movie stars rush a signature on a comic as they're kind of passing, and then when you've submitted that comic to the to CBCS and Becky have looked at it, it doesn't look anything like a genuine signature. So they've always covered themselves in the sense of they've kind of reserved the right to reject any signature. That doesn't mean that they're saying it's fake, but it just means that they can't and they won't put their name as a guarantee to that signature. So they'll always cover themselves on that. The process that they will always use, they've got examples and guides of the majority of people's signatures, whether they're a film star, whether they're a sports person, whether they're within the comic book world. They've got examples that they know are genuine, and they'll always use those as a guide. They'll look at the shape of letters. They'll look at the kind of flow of a signature. They'll tend to look at a kind of bunch of signatures by one person and see, you know, where your book is fitting into that as well. So they always will cover themselves, but it's quite a strict process that they now follow. It's tightened up a little bit recently as well, which can be frustrating for some people, especially, like I said, when you know that signature is real, you've had it done yourself, but purely because the artist or the writer or the film star just rushed their signature, it can be a bit of a kick in the teeth. But at the end of the day, they have to be safe. You know, they have to err with caution, so to speak. I've got an Undertaker signature on a comic I picked up, and when he signed it, he tried to sign avoiding the actual photo of him. It was a photo cover. So to do so, he shortened his own signature. Now, that didn't look anything like all the guide copies they've got of him. So they rejected it. But that's kind of, you've got to take them with a pinch of salt. They're not always going to get through.
And
who's this wrestler, the Taker?
Yeah, who is the Taker?
Well, when he said Undertaker, I don't know, because obviously pretty much everyone knows who the Undertaker is. My first thought was, why is he getting an Undertaker to sign his comic book? What's he doing at a funeral home? Yeah.
But Wakey Boxer said, I've got a Stan Lee comic signed. It has a COA. Do they take that into consideration or just go through their own process?
No, they will not consider COA at all. They often advise you not to even send it in with the comics, because it's just a case of they've then got to send it back to you. So it could get lost in the process. In honesty, my own personal belief of COAs is they're not often worth the paper they're written on. There's stories out there, you know, people like Dynamic Forces, who most people would accept are the biggest name in, you know, signed comic books, providing a certificate of authenticity. You know, but there's also known examples of when they've put their name to a book that was not signed by the person that they said it was signed by. Jack Kirby being a massive prime example of that, when his wife Roz was signing on his behalf. So, you know, they will never look at a COA and kind of take that as gospel. They'll always assess it using the guides that they've got, which is great. You know, that's what you want them to do. That's what they're there to do. They're there to analyse it as much as they can to the best of their ability. And then if they're happy, they'll put their name to it.
I think it's only fair, and I mean, we've got like us as a crew. We've got various signed comics from John Boy Mayers, from Alan Quay, and stuff like that. And I wouldn't even bother sending that to CGC because it's just going to come back as a 9.8, 9.6, and it's not going to benefit the signature at all. I'm just going to keep it in back and boarded, and it's just there, isn't it? So, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, you know what? Sorry, buddy.
No, I was just going to say there's something special about actually meeting the person. I think that's for me. It's like you're almost getting something slabbed because you can look at it and say, at that particular day, I was there. I met that person. I got to speak to them, and that for me is why I want to get something signed at Thought Bubble and get it slabbed. I think if you're just getting stuff slabbed for the sake of it, then again, you're just going to look at it, and there's not going to be any benefit, as it were. There's no memory to it. So I think you're kind of encapsulating that memory to a certain extent.
I think that's perfect, mate. You know, it's got to be, and I always say this to people, it's got to be what suits you. You know, firstly, consider, are you looking to just sell the books on as soon as you've got them signed and grading? Are you selling them straight on? And if you are, that's okay. But you also have to consider the factors of the financial cost behind it.
Yeah.
If you're doing it purely because, you know, it's got sentimental value to yourself, then that's also really cool. But then you can also consider whether you need to get that graded. So there's many different factors. And that's what me and Lucy do with people. We try and talk them through that process and have an open, honest conversation with them as well to make sure the grading's for them.
Because obviously this is the verification process, but then obviously there's the security, the legitimacy, and obviously the call to action.
Yeah, again, you know, like I said, they'll put their name to it if they genuinely believe it's authentic. Once it's kind of been seen by Bass, who is obviously the authentication part of the process, if they're happy, they'll pass it back over to CBCS and they'll confirm it's genuine in their opinion, and then CBCS will do the standard grading as well to kind of complete the process. But it does take a little bit longer, but I think we can accept, you know, an extra couple of weeks on top, especially when they've got to, you know, really look hard and work hard to make sure that is a genuine signature, again, to the best of their ability.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to, picking the comics that I want to get signed, having you witness it, and then sending it through CBCS, because that's, I mean, we can all go on like eBay and stuff and buy a signed comic, but having it witnessed there and then, I think it adds to that, the whole thing of getting it done and being part of, like, with the artist or the creator that's signing it, having it witnessed and then sending it off. It's an exciting process, to be fair.
I think it's great to meet the people as well. You know, we watch the show with you guys every week now. And seeing the people that you have on.
Poor you.
But you know what? Seeing the people you guys have on and the kind of connection that you have with them, that's what it's all about. When you go to these shows and you if you do get time to speak to them properly and have a little conversation with these guys that are signing your books, it becomes an awesome overall experience. You know, I took my eldest son, to one of the London shows a couple of years ago, and he met Alan Harris from Star Wars, who played Bosk. And he was such a friendly guy and really interacted with my son. And it made him feel part of the process as well. And it's just an awesome experience. George Perez was the same when I took my little one to London, and he was so interactive with him. When you find someone like that and they'll give you the time of day, that's perfect environment.
I think the only thing not looking forward to Thought Bubble is our cards, because the amount of people that the guests that we've got to buy drinks for at the bar is literally, we'll be there till Saturday afternoon just buying parts at the bar. We won't get nothing signed, nothing to get done.
Doing double dipping shifts at work.
But Shane from Dollar Comics has said, will they still slab the comic if the signature can't be verified?
Again, they can. You've got that option. When you submit the comics, you've got that option to ask them to slab, even if it's not verified. But if they do that, the grade itself will then take a hit, and they'll mark it as writing on the cover or inside the page.
Okay.
For me, because obviously the business I run, if a comic book is not verified, I don't need it. I'm not going to sell it on to anyone because I don't feel that's right for me to then move that on to someone else. So if mine don't get verified, I don't get them slabbed, and I just literally chuck them in a box, and they'll stay in there then, because like I said, I won't move that on. It's not right to then sell that to someone else and try and pass off that signature.
Well, no, it is true, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
It's your choice. We had a guy submit a Fantastic Four issue #1 recently with no cover, with a Stan Lee signature, and we knew the signature wasn't going to pass. It didn't look right. So we had our opinion. We told him that we didn't think it was going to pass, but he still wanted it encapsulated, even if it failed, to protect the rest of the book, and that's cool. You know, again, like I said, everybody's got a purpose, and everybody's got a kind of an outcome that they want to achieve. So that's always cool with us.
Tim, do you slab sketch covers or like remarks?
Yeah. I've got loads, mate. You know, I've got a range. I've got Georgia Perez sketch covers. I've got Phil Buckingham, great UK artist, really popular in the groups. I've got a guy called Wappy. He's a Spanish coffee artist, painting coffee, that I've shown off quite a lot. But yeah, I find it awesome to get someone to do me a sketch and then get it graded as well. You know, maybe I'm a little bit clumsy, and maybe I don't trust myself to look after that great sketch if I don't get it encapsulated. So
I've got a couple myself I'd like to get slabbed. Sure, but I wasn't sure whether or not you could do it.
Here's an idea, guys. Why don't we get a blank cover and get Tom to do a sketch, and we'll get it sent off slabbed with CBCS, and then we'll do it as a giveaway for the show.
I'd be game for that.
All right, sweet. There we go. Another giveaway. There we go. Done. There we go. That's it.
I'm more than happy to help with that, boys, if you want.
Well, that'd be great. There we go. Look, all about
awesome. Happy days.
Giving and winning. That's it. But
Giving
Tim,
and winning.
This has been great. Like it's been well insightful, and I think the chat have enjoyed it as well. I've learned a lot more. Obviously, we've been speaking for a few weeks now and everything. We've been like talking about this and stuff. So to finally have you on and find out that you are attending Thought Bubble, I think this is becoming a norm now. But I think we're going to have to get you a drink at the bar.
I'm expecting you guys are going to go to the bar, and the fire alarms are going to strangely go off at that point.
That's because I'll be missing.
Yeah. We've got a fireman with us.
Exactly, yeah. But obviously that covers CBCS, but you also have this coming up at the weekend, don't you?
Yeah, do you know what? We've got
Will your dog be attending? That's all I need to know. Is the dog attending, and is he going to be snoring?
The dog, do you know what? He's snoring right next to me now.
I thought he was. I thought I could hear him.
You do want to ask if it was Lucy or the dog?
Well, yeah, I did think that, but then I thought I don't want to get a slap.
No, do you know what? We're doing our first Saturday show. For the last 5 months, we've been doing 2 shows a month, and we've been doing a mid-month and an end-of-month. And do you know what? We're knackered. For want of a better phrase, we are absolutely shattered. They've been so popular and they're so busy that it's taken us about a week to get all the orders out each time. So what we've decided to do is do it just literally once a month, and we're going to combine both the shows. They're obviously going to be a lot longer, but we're going to run it on a Saturday so we can start earlier in the day. And we'll probably we'll be going from about 4 o'clock probably until about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And you know, we'll keep going as long as people are there. We'll keep going. We've bought in some awesome books. We've bought in loads of new books that we're still pricing, and we're excited to see how it goes.
Do you have that mask book handy, Tim?
No, don't do this to me, Andy.
Have a coincidence, I do.
I like that guy.
I like that guy.
There we go. Let's see if we can see it without the.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it's a promotional supplement book. I know we talked about it the other day briefly, and I was surprised there are I think I said 71 9.8s on the census.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Which I was surprised with. I expected a few less. But interestingly enough, there's only 74 in total on the census.
Ooh.
So I think you were right. I think a dealer's picked these up at some point.
Yeah.
And they've gone straight off. But it's an awesome book. I've never seen it before myself.
Yeah, I knew it existed, but I've never seen one either raw, and that one there was the first that I'd seen slabbed, and I nearly fell off my chair when I realised it was 9.8. That's why I very quickly messaged you and said, "What is this? Am I seeing this? Is this real?" I absolutely couldn't believe it. And you know that probably isn't the
I'll fight you for it, Triple G.
That's not even the tip of the iceberg. I mean, some of the books that you've got coming up in this claim sale is phenomenal.
Oh, this is an awesome book.
Tim, no.
Do you know what? I'm gutted about this. I picked it up to get Shang Tsung signed in Wales. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the gentleman's name, but the guy who played Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat films is in Wales.
That looks incredible.
But it's a completely debossed or embossed cover, so it's all raised all over it. And there's physically nowhere for him to sign. So I think this one's going up at the weekend in the claim sale.
That's
incredible. No, it's not, Tim, because I'm going to message you when we get off here.
You know what? Every time we do a preview post, we get so many messages asking to buy the comics up front, and we've always said as soon as we preview it, we won't sell it. We'll literally let everybody have the fair chance, and we won't sell it in advance.
Yeah.
It doesn't always go down well. But you know what? We want to be fair to the community. This is exclusive to the Hobgoblins Hideaway. We don't put the link out to any other comic groups. And we do loads of offers. We've got the 12 Days of Christmas is coming up. That shows how we did this last year, and we literally for 12 days we just gave comic books away.
Nice.
And that went down really well. And we're closing in on that really quickly. But we're always doing giveaways and always trying to give back to the guys within the group as well.
That's perfect.
Honestly,
yeah.
you and Lucy do a great job, and obviously, I think it's going to benefit you guys starting at 4 p.m. Because can you just do one thing? If you do have a Fitbit or anything, halfway through, just stop and show how many steps you do. Because I want to know every show you do. I'm always dropping a comment in. How many steps you done, Tim? How many steps you done?
You know what? We need to reduce it, mate. I'm getting too old for it. I'm knackered by the end of a show. I'm absolutely done in with all the kind of putting comics down and picking them all up. I'm just done in and walking backwards and forwards like Benny Hill. We got the Benny Hill theme tune on. You guys might be too young to even know Benny Hill.
No, I know.
But yeah, Tim, with that said, obviously thanks for coming on. Obviously you've got your claim sale show on October the 30th at 4 p.m. over on Facebook. Check it out. Andy has dropped the link 2 or 3 times. I think if you could just drop it again, mate, that'd be great.
The more won't be available. You can't have it. It's mine.
But Tim, thanks for coming on, mate. I'm looking forward to seeing you at Thought Bubble, and I'm looking forward to dragging you around as long as we will, and like getting you to witness all the signatures that we do and stuff. So it's great. So it's going to be a good time, I think.
I think so indeed. Not a problem at all. I'm more than happy to help if I can. Be good to meet a lot of people at the show as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
And I think we're going to let you go now because I think you picked up quite a few long boxes that you've got to get sorted today. So we will let you drift off into your sofa, and you and Lucy can crack on with the preparation for your show on Saturday, mate. But thank you very much for joining.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
No worries, Tim. Cheers, mate.
Take care, guys.
Very much.
Cheers.
How cool was that? That was pretty awesome. Like to find out how in depth that was and stuff. But Tom,
yes,
we're finally at that moment what you've been asking me for 2 or 3 weeks, mate.
Yeah,
there we go. That was awesome.
Longest intro ever.
I know. Charlie did ask me to shorten it. I just haven't had time.
I loved it. Honestly, I really enjoyed that. And as a few people, Tom, I don't think they're talking about your intro. I think they're talking about having Tim on and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Chris said that was fascinating. Noob said it's like the Looney Tunes intro. Awesome new intro.
Yes.
Brilliant that. Cheers. Or one of those old time themes.
Have you noticed though, like since Triple
Totally
G
worth
blessed
it. There we
me
go.
with the greatest ever
Yeah.
intro, everybody's trying to up their game. I
Yeah.
see you, Tom. I see you. I see what you're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. I'm trying, mate. I'm trying.
But we are back to normal after that fantastic 25 30 minutes of Tim talking about CBCS and stuff. Football was going to be well interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting. We are at the killer covers for October 28th, which is week number 43. Now up first we have issue, Tom.
Oh, yes, mate. Yeah. So this is issue 4 of Moon Knight. I don't know if anyone's reading the actual series. I enjoyed issue 1 and then I fell off issue 2 because I just thought it was a bit meh. However, it's got this amazing, stunning cover by Gabriella Dell'Otto, who is just a top artist. I love Gabriella Dell'Otto. She's like one of my favorite artists. This is the 1 in 25 incentive variant. It isn't as nice as the Tyler Christopher cover that is for issue 5, but this is actually really smart. I really like the double negative on this. I think it's quite smart, and I like how realistic his leather armor looks.
I'm going to admit, Tom, whenever you said you started that sentence, it's not as good. I thought you were going to say it's not as good as Andy's cover that's coming up. And
oh yeah, no. Oh, but Andy's in already.
He's in already. So that's Tom. I really like this cover. I'm surprised how much I like this cover. It's just a shame that the story is absolutely shit. Didn't like it. Don't like it at all.
No, the story's big. But the cover's awesome. And
the cover's
Gabriel just smashes it, mate, every time he does it. And you know he paints these by hand. Like, it's no Photoshop involved at all. It's all hand-drawn and then painted. That's how good he is.
Dawn of Comics is just dropping so much tonight. I've got he's dropping names, he's dropping high grades, he's dropping Batman Adventures 12, 3 copies of it.
I think Shane needs to do like an actual video of all these amazing books. I'd love to see these. They're such a cool.
So the only thing that Shane needs to do is drop his vote to Andy when he sees my comic cover coming up.
No, vote Tom. Always vote Tom.
There we go.
Oh, guys, what can I say? Where Tom's cover
That's what you can say.
Was good. I think it's fair to say that this is phenomenal. This is Wonder Woman Black and Gold, issue number 5. This is the 1 in 25 incentive by Rose Besh. Just take a moment to take this cover in from top to bottom. The hair, the gold, the highlights. It is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. It would look lovely graded in a CBCS holder as well. I think there really is only one cover that you guys should be voting for, but I trust the chat to vote for the best cover. So I don't really need to say much about this cover. It completely speaks for itself, lads. You're on mute, Charlie.
Yeah, well, Charlie's on mute. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. Charlie put himself on mute. He didn't want to say anything, so he put himself on mute.
I was swearing. We've had Rose Besh, we've had Dell'Otto, and then we have Alan.
Oh, yeah. Have we not? Wait a minute. Have we not seen much about that cover? Then?
No. Hold on.
What's the chat saying?
Let's go back here. So what's the chat saying? So we've like to say, sorry, Tom. Andy's just smashed it. Kerr said it's all right, not her favourite cover. Sorry, mate. Rose Besh, fire. The shading, that is fantastic.
On this one or the Dell'Otto?
No, I think it's this one, mate. And I am speechless. Biceps too big. There we go. But so Andy, I think you're in contention as you are every week. But this for me, this Alan Quay, friend of the show, this Virgin variant for Wolverine 17 is sublime. It's incredible. Look at this.
Look at the cards. Look at it. The cards are stunning. I feel as if one of them's going to hit me in a second. To be honest, it's so realistic.
In all fairness, this is a beautiful cover.
This is sensational, and obviously, I've dropped the poll in the chat. But for me, when I see this, I didn't even bother looking through the rest. As soon as I come across this, I was like, "This is the one. This is." Look at the Sentinel in the back. It's incredible. the artwork that he's done on this, we know what Alan Quay can do. We've had him on the show and stuff, but this is, I think I'm confident with this for the first time in 5 weeks of doing this. I think I'm confident.
I must admit,
detail on this is insane.
It's incredible.
Yeah, of all the covers that you've picked, Charlie, like, and in fairness, the level's been quite fairly low from yourself, Charlie. I've been a wee bit disappointed, Tom. I don't know if you agree. It's been, it's nobody's best work, to be fair. So you've definitely upped your game, and I respect that. But Alan, as you say, is a great friend of the show, so I'd never say anything bad about his covers. This is superb, but it's just no Rose best superb.
Well, we're getting like that looks epic, Charlie. Look, Fuzzy Dunlop, Charlie. Gambit looks wicked on that cover. We've got Charlie has romped this here.
Where's Bell?
Badass Charlie.
Could Charlie get the win for once?
And we have a second place Wakey box. Winner, chicken dinner on the Wolverine cover for me. I picked up Wolverine 15 over on this one. It's tied. Well, Charlie, for the first time since you started doing these polls, I'm siding with you. Oh, never mind. There we go. Look, I think I'm well happy. Look, is
it going to be a landslide win?
At the moment, in first place, we've got Wolverine with 47%. We've got Wonder Woman with 41%, and we've got Moon Knight with 12%. This.
Well, if you're not going to vote for me, vote for Charlie.
What? Kick a man when he's down unwell. That's
Alan Quay killing on the Wolverines. This will go until the end of the show, so it could change because normally it does change. Normally it goes from Andy to first place to first place to first place. But yeah, this will keep going on. There's some fantastic. Let's have a look again just to keep these other two happy. So we've got Moon Knight.
What have we got? Andy? We got. Is it 3-2 to you at the moment?
Got the Lotto.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Got the Lotto. We've got Rose Besh. And we've got this one, which is amazing. Dawn of Comics is saying it's a fix. Andy was robbed. There must have been a joker in that pack of cards that Gambit's throwing because hopefully I'm running to first place for the first time ever. But there we go.
I didn't get too confident, mate. It's literally just gone neck and neck between you and Andy.
Oh, no, it has, isn't it? This is going to be an interesting one. It's going to be an interesting one.
I think we can safely say that I'm not going to win this week.
Tom, everyone's a winner.
Nice.
I'm a winner for just being here with you two idiots.
Apart from if you picked a Moon Knight cover, then you're not. But
yeah,
it is what it is. That's the covers of the week. But moving on, we've got week 42 Killer Comic Show comic review. So we've got the Made in Korea issue number 5, which was Andy's pick. We've got Catwoman Lonely City number 1, which was my pick. We've got Refrigerator Full of Heads, which was Tom's pick. And then we put it to the poll out on YouTube this week, and we've got Death of Doctor Strange issue number 2, which was picked by the viewers over on YouTube. So we kind of all read that. All interesting. But up first, we have the Death of Doctor Strange issue number 2. So obviously this was picked by the viewers of YouTube. It's written by Jed McKay with the cover art and art by Lee Garbett. This came out last week. The main cover was by Andrea Sorrentino. We had the 1 in 25 Dan Panasian variant cover, and then we had the RB Silver Venomized variant. Andy, what did you think of this comic, mate?
Yeah, well, the first issue, I didn't enjoy a huge amount. I don't know what I expected from it. I guess the name on the cover tells you everything that you need to know that happens in this first issue. For this issue, I'd heard a lot of sort of spec about it, that there was going to be lots of first appearances and stuff like that. I personally picked up the RB Silver Venomized variant. I thought that was an absolutely stunning cover.
It is. Have you got it, Andy, or has it been delivered yet?
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, and it looks beautiful.
I've got a couple for the shop, and they really are much nicer in person than they are on screen.
That's exactly what I thought. I don't think that this does it justice, to be honest, until you actually physically look at it. It's one of those ones you have to have on hand and to fully appreciate it, 100%. Obviously, this was a viewer's pick, and I was intrigued to see how this story would develop. And my goodness, it's very strange. It put the strange into a strange story. All of a sudden, it's turned on his head, and Doctor Strange isn't actually really dead. He's dead, but just in another universe, he's alive because he decided that if he ever did die, he was going to take the first week of his death, and he was going to be reincarnated, or he was just going to take that part off of his main life to go and investigate who actually killed him. So at this point, we realised that we're only like 6 pages in, so my mind's absolutely blown. I'm full of Lemsip and prescribed drugs. I don't know what's going on this afternoon reading this. But then we progress and we meet the 3 witches. There's 3 witches, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought it started to get really cool and interesting at that point. I thought those 3 characters were just like zany, Marvel-esque coolness. And it started to become a little bit more light-hearted. And the Avengers got the absolute crap beat out of them as well, which kind of felt good to read and watch, because every comic I think I've read by Marvel, they always come out on top. But in this particular issue, they got the shit kicked out of them, and the 3 witches just walked away and into the distance saying, "We'll be back, guys." And it just set up issue 3.
See you later.
So I'm invested back in this. First issue didn't do it for me. The second issue did. So fair play.
Tom?
Well, unfortunately, because the vote was up until last night, or was it Tuesday? Was it? Yeah, Tuesday. I train on a Tuesday, and I've had 2 massive call-outs, so I actually haven't read this, unfortunately. I do apologise. I'm very sorry. I just haven't had.
You do only
we
have
forgive you
3
for
jobs,
saving
mate.
lives.
Exactly.
We forgive you. You were saving lives.
Yeah.
You do only have the 3 jobs, so we'll let you off. But Andy, I'm pretty much the same with you. I think we covered the first one. I think Tom picked it. We covered the first one a couple of weeks ago, and I think I said then it's a comic that it weren't going to win awards. There's nothing special about it. Doctor Strange dies, and that's the be all end of it. We don't know who killed him and stuff like that. But this one, exactly at the same point when the witches were introduced, my interest was piqued. I was like, hold on a minute, this is kind of going another direction that I didn't think it was going to go. And then when the Avengers show up and get their ass kicked, and Captain Marvel rocks up and has a little Barney with Iron Man asking why am I late to the party? I'm always the last one to know and stuff. I'm invested in number 3 now, and I'm really interested to see how it's going, because obviously Doctor Strange didn't know hardly anyone. He's been sleeping, like waiting to be reincarnated from the week of a slumber that he's put himself and died and stuff. It's an interesting concept. It is an interesting concept, and I like the fact that in this issue there's more of the Strange Academy characters coming in, because I think 2 or 3 weeks down the line we have Strange Academy, the death of Doctor Strange, and that ties in as well. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. I do like the artwork in it. I do like the narrative and the story, but I'm definitely interested to see where number 3 goes, and that's mainly because of down to the last 5 pages of it, to be fair.
It's definitely interesting that a Doctor Strange titled book, and Doctor Strange isn't the main character to a certain extent, and isn't the most interesting character. I think those 3 villains that were introduced in this issue could probably do with their own comic. This could be a comic all about them, and I would pick that up because they were just so interesting and different. But yeah,
I want to know who the child is. That's what I'm interested. They keep talking about this child. We need to get home and feed the child and stuff. I'm looking forward to that. But GP Venom, he is off. I'm off. Catch the rest on the rewind. # vote for Charlie. Cheers, mate. I will put that £5 in your PayPal account for that vote. Nice one, mate. Thank you very much. But enjoy your evening and enjoy the comic that you won as well. But yeah, it's not a comic that I'm shouting about. I'm not going to say it's a killer or a binner. It's a decent read. It's probably balancing on the ledge, waiting to either fall into the bin or the killer pot. But it's a good comic. It is a good comic. Shane said, I'm pretty over the Venomized covers, to be fair, but I bet Phil is picking them up.
Yeah.
He absolutely loves them. I bet he is.
I would recommend picking this one up, because I was kind of always Shayna's is like I can't be bothered with another Venomized cover, but this is it's more than a Venomized cover. This, to be honest, I think Tom, you'll agree, it's definitely a pickup.
It's stunning, mate. It's actually stunning, and in holding it in hand, because it's got that very bare minimum, kind of like the bit at the bottom, the Stormbreaker, the artist's name. There's no Marvel on it. It's almost basically a Virgin cover, and it's just really nice. It's a really nice piece of art, to be honest.
100%.
I quite like the main cover with the fact that the Avengers are carrying Doctor Strange's coffin.
That's one really small coffin, I'd say.
Yeah. But anyway, that was the Death of Doctor Strange issue number 2, available from
Killer.
All Good Comic Shop. Well, I'm going to say I'm going to plead the 5th on this one.
I'm going to say Killer just for that cover.
Okay,
nice.
Fair enough. So what have we got next? There we go, Tom. You definitely better have read this one, mate, because you picked it.
I did, mate. Yeah. So next up is the Refrigerator Full of Heads. So it's the next kind of book in the Hill House series, which is a Black Label DC book. It's written by Ryo Yoes, artwork by Tom Fowler.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me, guys. And the cover art is by Sam Wolfe on the first one, and the cover B, which I think is actually really smart. It's by Rico. Would you say that? Rico? Is that how you say it?
Rico
Murakami.
Murakami. There we go.
Why is it whenever I pick a book, they've always got really complex names? Because you guys have really simple names to say. I have really complex names to say. I'm like the
John
worst
Smith.
one. I might just sit here and go, yeah, it's by, and then wait for one of you guys to say.
I'll just be like, it's by Rico Murakami.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this is the first issue of Refrigerator Full of Heads, and it's along the same sort of lines as Basket Full of Heads. So these artifacts and stuff are involved, these kind of North mythology artifacts. And it's about this couple that go on a holiday to kind of a nice retreat to get away from it all. She's a writer, he's her kind of handyman, as it were, and they kind of get themselves into a bit of trouble. And I actually really liked it. From start to finish, I thought it was really good. I thought it was really strong. I thought the character development was well paced. I thought the artwork really lent itself to the story. I liked because the first part of it is like almost like a separate story arc. So you almost get two stories for one. Obviously, they're going to link up at some point, but you obviously get two stories at the same time at the beginning, which is really cool. I liked that you got the couple of different artifacts, which was really cool. I kind of thought a little bit later on that you might see them both again, but you didn't. I liked all of it, and I thought the dialogue was great. I thought the pacing was great. I thought the artwork was spot on. I couldn't knock it really. The only thing I would say is there wasn't enough. I wanted more straight away off the bat. I was like, I need issue 2 now. I want to know what happens. I want to know what's going on. That'd be my only criticism on this. And the fact that it was late in delivery to me. So Charlie's not getting his till next week. Sorry, mate.
And on that note, I've got to say, I absolutely, when Hill House Comics came to DC Black Label, this was obviously the first one that came out. We touched about it on, like, when we spoke earlier. Basket Full of Heads was sensational for me. Like the story, it was in Old Town, England, America. It was wicked.
Yeah.
It was gritty. The line work, the art, everything about it was the way that it was done. It was like you was reading a movie, like an old fashioned horror film. And it was kind of, you read it, look over your shoulder and think, wow, this could actually really happen. And it was wicked. This follows on from that. And a refrigerator full of heads, as Wakey Box just said. Refrigerator full of heads, basket full of heads. What's going on here then? Basically, all I would say to you is that Basket Full of Heads does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a basket full of heads. This is a refrigerator full of heads. The concept of it is so cool. It's so out there. Hill House Comics is obviously put together by Joe Hill, who is the son of the great Stephen King. But this, when you picked this, Tom, if you hadn't picked this, I would have picked it. It's honestly, I can't fault this comic at all. The story from start to finish for me was great. The way it tied in with what happened in Basket Full of Heads was a good little cool nod to know that we're in the second phase of the Heads chapter. It was wicked, and I think I totally agree with you. I could have read another 2 or 3 issues of this in one book. It was. I just loved it. I haven't felt this excited about a comic in a while from DC, if I'm honest. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing issue number 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Great comic.
I like Shane's comment about the fact that this must be bringing back bad memories for Kyle Rayner from the Green Lantern, because obviously he lost one of his girlfriends was shoved into a refrigerator.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, if you've not read that issue, I mean, a million years ago it came out.
Yeah, the variant should be a headless diver, as it's very different and doesn't have anything to do with the title.
To be fair.
It does actually. Yeah.
Ties in with the story though. I think once you've read the story, then you appreciate the cover. It doesn't just become like a cool cover. It becomes all right. It's a cool cover that relates completely to what the book was about.
But Andy, I love this. Like, since absolute killer for me, mate. What did you think?
my expectations were really high with this one because of Basket Full of Heads, because it was Joe Hill that was doing it, because it was a DC Black label. It had absolutely everything going for it. It had 2 really cool covers, and I knew that you guys were buzzing to read it.
Oh,
So
God.
it almost yeah, it's like like it didn't. No, no. For me, I went into this book with really, really high expectations, and it met them. Absolutely met them. I thought it was great. I kind of rolled my eyes a little bit when I seen that this was coming out. I was like, oh, we've had Basket Full of Heads, and the best they could do was come up with a change of one word. So we're going to have a refrigerator, and I'm like, what are we going to have next? Is it going to be a shopping cart full of heads? Is it going to be, is it going to be a long box full of heads? So I just thought, a little bit more, thought, effort into that might have been an idea, but the story from start to finish was great. It was pure Joe Hill. He doesn't he very rarely gets it wrong. I don't think I've actually read any of his books where it has been a boring read, and it's intense. It's an intense read. The artwork was absolutely sublime by Tom Fowler, and it'll be one that I'll be picking up, and I'm glad that one of you guys did pick up, because I might have passed this one if it wasn't picked for this show. Because of that, it's another Joe Hill, it's another, something full of heads book, but I'm glad that I got to read it, and it was definitely a killer for me.
Yeah.
3 killers. So if you haven't picked this up, definitely go for it, because you're in for a fun ride. And I would read Basket Full of Heads, probably that's coming out in a trade paperback if it ain't out already. I think it ended in December last year, January. So definitely pick that up, and then grab this. There we go. Look, you guys bring a lot of great books to the forefront that a lot of people can easily miss. Great work, guys. Thanks, Tim. Thanks very much, mate. And then Dawn of Comics, the title was missing at the end. It's actually a refrigerator full of heads of lettuce. There we go. That'd be an interesting one, wouldn't it? You open up, they open that up and a load of heads fall out and it's just lettuce heads.
Or like the tips of asparagus or something.
That could be the next chapter. You never know. But this for me, 100% killer.
Yeah, same, mate.
I liked it that much. When we finish it, I'm going to read it again. I actually am, because I really enjoyed it.
Like I said, my only criticism of this entire book is the fact that DC didn't send it out when they were supposed to send it out.
It's annoying, that, isn't it?
Happens a lot.
So annoying. So that's 3 killers, yeah?
Yep.
Definitely.
Now this one was on a delay, because this was due out last week. Well, no, it was due out. Yeah, it was due out last week, but it came out this week. But because we wanted to read it so much, we included it. Andy, this was your pick, sir.
It was my pick. I think I've picked Made in Korea every issue that it's come out, and it has been consistently the best comic this year for me. It's never let me down. It's never let us down as a group of readers. And we've got one more issue after this to go.
Yeah.
And Jeremy's just knocked it out of the park. If we thought the last issue was good, this issue...
He must have known. He must have known.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Yeah.
How are you doing, sir? Yeah, it was due out last week, and it came out this week.
Yeah. Jeremy's in the chat now, so he's put me on the spot, I feel. No,
Andy, you cannot say what you told me earlier. Now that he's here, you cannot say that.
No, honestly, this book, this has been the most consistent book this year for me that I've been reading, that we've been reading as part of the Killer Comics. Every issue has been an absolute pleasure. The last issue put, the volume went up to 11. It went full pace, and almost for this issue, it kind of slowed down ever so gently. It almost felt like reminiscent of the first issue, where it was kind of like giving us a little bit of a backstory. Jesse's obviously back with the creator, as it were, and it kind of brings you back to the we keep forgetting that she's not a real person, and I think as we've been reading this book, we've embraced the character because it's been so well written, and she is a real person to us. But every so often,
isn't that a beautiful thing though? That,
it is,
not real.
That's the beauty of the writing.
Real.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the writing. But every so often, Jeremy will just hit with a writing bomb, and we'll just go, "Oh, wait a minute! No, she's not. She's a robot, and she can be switched off at any point in time." And I think one of the most poignant parts of this book was when she asked to get. She's like, "Can I grow up? When am I going to grow up?" And she's told, "No, well, you can't grow up. You're programmed to have certain limits." And she's like, "All right, okay." And as a reader, I'm going, "Yeah, that's right. She's a robot." And then she says, "Well, can I get clothes?" So he takes her to the shop, and he automatically takes her to go and get girls' dresses and girls' clothes. And she says, "No, I want those." And she goes and puts on clothes that would generally be seen as boys' clothes. And there's a beautiful piece of writing in it where the creator of the bot says, it doesn't matter what I think you look like, whatever you feel comfortable in. And I just thought,
such
wow.
a beautiful line, man.
Yeah, it was just like this is what this book is all about. And I think Jeremy's actually just taken us on a bit of a journey here, not only for the main character, but for her daddy, I guess.
Yeah, that one part of that whole book completely sold. I mean, I love this book anyway, but that sentence there just completely sold this entire series to me. If you haven't read any of Made in Korea, what Andy just said, that tiny little bit where like the creator turns around to the robot and says, "It doesn't matter what you wear as long as you're comfortable with what you wear and in your own self. It doesn't really matter." That there is why you should go out and buy all of these books ASAP. It's a stunning book, absolutely stunning book.
I just I don't really know what else to say from that.
Yeah,
I messaged Jeremy last night and was like, just when I think you couldn't put any more emotion and thought into the issues that you've done so far, you come and drop issue number 5. I thought issue number 5 was amazing. I thought it was a very personal issue. Again, Andy, you've touched on it where Jessie is kind of like she wants to be that. And then, no, I want that. And it don't matter. It really doesn't matter. And I thought, honestly, the writing on this, we say it time and time again, this is an incredible comic. Incredible on every level.
It was so real. It was real life because as a dad of 2 little girls, I'll be taking them to the shop and whether it be toys or whether it be, and the one thing that gets me is when you go into a toy shop and there's a boys and a girls section for toys. And it's like, it's a toy, there shouldn't be a differentiation between the two.
And this is it, Andy. And this is what I thought about this when I was reading this comic, and Jeremy's just knocked it on the head. That part is specifically my own exploration into gender identity. I knew, I kind of reading that and having spoken to Jeremy and we've had him on a show, and that for me was a very personal part of the comic. And I kind of had like the relativity between you can 100%. And I think
you can tell that was a personal line in there, which is what makes this book so special. Is Jeremy's had that ability to express that personal feeling within his own book, and how comfortable must he be to be able to do that? And I take my hat off to him. What a legend!
100%. Honestly, it was an incredible piece of writing that gets you in the feels, because obviously Jeremy, and he wanted to show what holding safe space looks like, especially as a parent. And the fact is that the creator reacted in such a caring way. I just thought it just took me on another emotional ride that I wasn't planning for. Jeremy, you've done it again, mate.
It's so poignant. I think this and The Many Deaths of Layla Starr and Haha are the 3 books that have been the most poignant reads for me this year. And has been an absolute pleasure as part of the Killer Comics. And I can't wait to read issue 6, but I just don't know if I'm prepared for issue 6, because just when I thought we were going at 100 miles an hour, we slowed it down and we got hit absolutely in the feels. And I just don't know what's going to happen with issue 6.
I can't see how it's going to go anywhere other than it's going to punch me right in the feels, and I'm going to hate my life afterwards and be like, why did I even read this book? I now have an emotional, I don't know what to do with myself.
I tell you exactly what's going to happen. We're going to read issue 6. We're all going to book a flight we're all going to book a flight to Brooklyn to buy more drinks for Jeremy and he can tell us what's going to happen in issue 7.
But you know what's going to happen for me. Issue number 5 was 100%.
Nice.
There you go, Jeremy. That's only the second book that's ever had the golden seal. It's a killer
Honestly,
approval.
For me, this was writing at its finest. This is why me as a reader sit down and read comics like this, because of
Yeah,
this.
I
This
couldn't
was
agree with you
amazing.
more. Actually, Charlie, that's exactly what I wanted to say. You took the words right out of my mouth. As a comic book reader, this is exactly what I want to read. Stuff like this.
There we go. Look, he's shocked. There we go. Honestly, Jeremy, amazing. I can't see where you go from issue number 6 now. It's going to be interesting. But we've even got Wake Box coming to Thought Bubble, Jeremy. You've got a lot of books to sign.
Yeah, or just come for a pint.
Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. And I think whenever we read Layla Starr, I thanked Ram V for writing the book, and I think it's probably best on our behalf, and I'll speak for us all. Thanks to Jeremy for creating this book and giving us the opportunity to experience it, because it is, dare I say, I use the word very sparingly, it's perfection.
It was. And you've got Mark Oldwood, an original, gripping and beautifully drawn comic, convincing me we are in a new golden age of comics. Says it all, really. And we've sold it to Rob Matthews. He's going to hunt down the issues.
Do it.
There we go.
You won't regret it.
You won't, honestly. You will not regret it. And yeah, this is sublime. Issues 1 to 5 so far have been an emotionally thought-provoking read, sensational all the way through. Can't wait to see how issue number 6. I'm going to be pretty sad, as I was with the end of Layla Starr, to see the end of it. But this is Jeremy. You've done sensational, absolutely sensational.
And the trade paperback should be coming out soon as well. So I might even drop into Jeremy's DMs and see if we can organise to get him to sign a couple. And we'll get it sent to my stackery, and I'll get it organised to come over here, and we can maybe give one as a giveaway. It's part of the show, because I think people deserve to definitely read this.
100%. And Jeremy's just said, I think issue 6 is the favourite of the bunch. Wrote it years ago, so I'm happy that it still feels relevant.
Jeremy, don't put stuff like that up on the internet. I'm crying already, and I've not even read it.
Don't do that. But Andy, I think that's great. I think if Jeremy's up to that, that'd be great. Yep, there we go. Yes, please. There we go. There we go. So we haven't just got one giveaway; we've got 2 giveaways that we've done that we've got planned for next year. But Jeremy, you are a massive friend of the show. You are always welcome to come on whenever you like. I think definitely when issue 6 drops.
I think we should have a dedicated show to Made in Korea where we just give it the big one with Jeremy.
Yeah.
We literally do that every single issue that comes out. But yeah, I think if we could organise, like, even when the trade comes out, Jeremy's always welcome to come on. But especially if we can come
get
on,
George as well.
Get George on and just do a full review of all 6 issues. Yeah,
that'd be great, because I'd love to see. Obviously, we know how Jeremy came up with this and how long he's been writing it and his journey to getting into Image and stuff like that. But it'd be great to see how the partnership between him and Jeremy. Between him and George kind of became and Made in Korea. There we go.
I'd be interested to know from George, like, how he decided to draw it this way, because you can tell that the way it's drawn is how it's written. Does that make sense? So you can tell that there's a lot of thought into how it's drawn to make it just like it's been written. So I would like to know how that process went.
I can't imagine anybody else doing the artwork for this, can you? Can you imagine this book with someone else doing it?
No, not at all. I really, really can't. And I think it just pays tribute to the whole thing as a whole. As a book as a whole, as a trade paperback as a whole, it's going to be amazing from reading from start to finish, all 6 issues. And again, this is a comic that when it comes out, I read issue 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and then I do it like that.
Wikibox has had absolutely... Wikibox has had a stunning idea. Do you know how CBeebies do the read-along?
This is great. We
should have a 6-issue Made in Korea read-along with Jeremy whenever the trade comes out.
That'd be awesome. It'd be wicked. We can all read an issue. And then so there'll be 5 of us on the show. No, but there'll be 5 of us on the show. There'll be 5 of us on the show, and then for the 6th one, we all read a page each. That'd be awesome. That'd be incredible. But honestly, this goes without saying. I'm going to flash it again because it 100% was a golden killer for me, and I think we all agree. And I think if there's people 100%. In the chat that have read it, I think they would agree as well. But Yeah, Jeremy, thank you so much for giving us such a fantastic comic to read. And he's intrigued with the read along. That's a great idea. Great
That's a
idea.
good idea.
That is a good idea.
I'm taking intrigued as scared. He's scared, but
Yeah.
I thought he's like,
Like,
what?
I'm intrigued.
Oh, and Jeremy's just left. He's just left because he was that scared. No, I'm only joking. He's still here.
And
Still
Jeremy
here.
has left the group chat.
But yeah, made in Korea. We can't shout about it enough. It's
We've just got our
sensational.
first thumbs down from Jeremy.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. Great idea. The three of you weeping uncontrollably.
Yeah. Now it happens all the time. We just don't
There we go.
air
It
it.
really does.
You are very welcome, but thank you so much. Right, so moving. I don't know how we even move on from this. This
Well,
is
we know what's coming up next.
there we go. Catwoman, my pick. Catwoman, Lonely City, issue number 1, written with the art, with the cover, with the lettering, with the cover art, with the variant cover art, all done by Cliff Chang. But we do have a 1 in 25 cover seed done by the fantastic Jock, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago. And again, we've got to buy him more drinks at Thought Bubble. But for me, there was these 3 covers, and then also we had another 3 covers.
I love these.
These covers are great.
Yeah.
These are really, really great. I did love this, and I've got to say, I really enjoyed the story. Again, I was like, it's another Catwoman story. There's so many of them out there at the moment. There's so many Batman stories out there at the moment. This for me was a breath of fresh air. This was great. I love the fact that we've kind of, I think it takes place 10 years after, I can't remember the name of the event that happens, but Batman's died. I think Robin's died. The Riddler's died.
Is it the April Fool or the Fool something?
Yeah, the Fool's Night. Yeah, the event of Fool's Night. I think Arkham Asylum blows up and Gotham goes all hell for leather. Batman's dead. Jim Gordon's dead. And she's been framed for the murder of Batman. She's come out of Blackgate. I think she was in there for 10 years. She's been released. We've got Two-Face is now the mayor of Gotham. He's got rid of all masked vigilantes and heroes and stuff. And it's the safest city in America. And this was a really interesting story for me. It was a really intriguing story. I liked how it was written. I liked the artwork. I liked the way that the story flowed. I didn't feel there was any parts I was like, it was good. I really, really enjoyed it more than I thought I did. But having read this after Made in Korea, it didn't touch the sides. But I've got to say, it was a totally different story. It was a totally different arc and look from where Batman is at the moment. I like the fact that there's parts in it that tie into the current Batman with the way that you've got like they're stopping vigilantes in the city because there's a new mayor and everything like that. So I kind of like the way that tied in, but this is great. This is a really, really interesting story. And the artwork was pretty decent. There's a guy that can do it all, and that's Cliff Chang.
Yeah, Cliff Chang has knocked this one completely out the park. I was with you with this one. A little bit like last week whenever, we had the Batman, the Imposter book. It was kind of like, oh, here we go. It's another Batman book. And I think as a fan of Batman, a fan of DC, I'm looking for something fresh. And I think you said the word fresh. I think this is exactly what it is. But I think just to step back from this book and take a moment to realise that Cliff done the writing of this book, he done the artwork, he done the covers, and he done the colouring. And the first page of this book, the colours pop right out at you. And like, is there anything that this guy can't do? It was superb. I think this is 3 issues. Am I right in saying, guys? 3?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. I thought this was absolutely fantastic. Really, really cool story. Really cool concept. And the pacing of this book was spot on for me. It wasn't, sometimes it becomes far too quick, and there's maybe 5 or 6 new characters. The beauty of this is I don't recall there being any new characters introduced to this. They just used they used Killer Croc, and I thought Killer Croc was the best thing about this book. He was superb. If I could get Killer Croc, the way his demeanor and the way that he was set up in this book as a standalone comic, I would buy that every day of the week. I think it was absolutely superb. Tom, what about yourself?
I would totally agree. I thought it was refreshing. I liked the take on it. Like you said, I liked the take on Killer Croc. I thought that was probably the best part of the book. I liked that they added 10 years onto Catwoman, so she was aging. You know, she'd got a bad back. She was a bit broken. Like she wasn't quite herself.
Dodgy
Like,
knees.
she was really struggling
Yeah.
with doing the things that she normally does, and she was making like Catwoman cock-ups, like something that Catwoman wouldn't have done back in the day. And I like that, and I love the idea that she's been framed for Batman's murder, but like she's not come out and said I didn't do it. Like at any point in this book, did she at all say to anyone, "I didn't do it"? I know she didn't, or like it's obvious she didn't do it, but she hasn't said she hasn't done it. So it kind of, makes it all a bit spooky and stuff. I thought it was really, really good. I like the fact that Harvey Dent is the mayor.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's cool.
Obviously, there's going to be a bit of a the fact that it's the safest city. Is he doing under the table deals? Is it the reason it's safe and everything is because he's doing under the table deals and getting people out? I liked that the Penguin was really creepy. I like it back to being a real creepy pervert.
An old perv, wasn't he? It was just an old perv.
I just thought everything about it was really refreshing. And I thought
And what we did find out though is that we found out that Harvey Dent let Selena Kyle out early.
Yes.
So
there's obviously an
part of their
ulterior
plan.
motive. Yeah.
So
So I thought it was
panel,
really good.
guys.
Yeah, I mean,
This
look
was
at that.
the standout panel for me was this one.
Yeah, that was pretty decent. It was a good comic. It was definitely a killer for me, 100%.
Was it a little bit too long?
A little bit,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it did drain on a little bit. I will give you that. It was, but I mean, I'm looking forward to what the next issue.
Yeah,
same.
I'm just wondering, like, did it have to be this long because it was a DC Black Label? Is is it a standard 3 issues for DC Black Label, or was this a choice that Cliff had made that he was just going to extend a bit? Because for me, I could have done with a break at some point.
White Knight is 7 or 8 issues, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's right.
I think. Do you know what? Because of this, I think because this is an oversized one, a bit like Harleen, it comes in like 3 or 5 issues.
Oh yeah, same as the Batwang one.
Yeah, I think I'm the Batwang. There we go. But yeah, and I think Joker Killer Smile was 3 issues as well. That was DC Black Label, but it is good. I'm going to look forward. I'm going to read it because it's a different take on Catwoman, Selena Kyle, and the rest of the.
And I'm still looking for that Jock Conan 25. If anybody can get it, Tim, I'm looking at you. If you come across that book, then let me know.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And here we have Brandon Looney Tunes fan 2000 here. What's up, Doc? Not much Batman. We are literally just still talking about Catwoman. But yeah, I think this was awesome for me. Did enjoy it. Enjoying these covers as well. Killer for me. 100% killer for me.
Yeah.
But talking about killers, talking about keys. The show that just keeps giving.
The show that keeps giving.
At an hour and 57 minutes, we are still giving. This is the Killer Keys, November 3rd. Tom, over to you, sir.
She said, still giving it an hour and 48 minutes. Well, I'm really glad that Charlie has managed to change the slides for me, or whether or not he picked up the ones I changed. But I started with a massive, massive mess up on this. Everything was the wrong name. Everything was the wrong person. So I'm going to hopefully they're right as I read them out. And if you go and buy them and they're wrong, it's not my fault. Anyway, so first up is the Killer Keys Dark Knight's Steel issue 1. It's a 12-issue story arc. And it's a brand new story arc written by Tom Taylor, who does some of the most incredible kind of out of the box thinking with his stories. Like he did Deceased, Dead Planet. He's currently doing the Dark Ages run for Marvel, and those kind of things have been absolutely phenomenal. He's also doing the current Superman run, which is pretty good. So this is another one of his. It's written by him, artwork by Yasmin. And this is the introduction of a brand new series of the DC universe, but in a medieval style. So they're all kind of Knights of the Round Table kind of stuff. So there's no superpowers involved at all. It's just a little bit of witchcraft, possibly. Harley Quinn is actually a jester. She's not just dressed up as one. She actually is a jester.
No.
Batman is a knight, like a proper knight. And I think Kal-El is obviously the king of the realm. And it's all about that kind of thing. And it looks like Alfred is a kind of like a knight as well, which is pretty cool. I like the idea of this.
This sounds great. I think Alan Quay's done a variant cover for this as well.
He has. Some of the variant covers for this are absolutely insane.
Joshua Middleton is doing
Yeah.
a cracking cover for this as well. Yeah.
I think the Kyle Ingu one will be my cover pick for next week.
I'm looking forward to reading this.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. And I just think Tom Taylor does some incredible stories.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people like him, but I don't think you can argue with the power of Deceased, and I don't think you can argue with the power that has been Dark Ages. They've been two tremendously good reads, and that's because he gets to have free reign. And with this, he's got free reign for 12 issues over our favorite characters in a completely different setting that they've never been in before.
Yeah.
So it just makes me excited all over.
It's got the ingredients for something pretty special, I think, that might go under the radar ever so slightly, because I don't think there's been a huge amount of chat about this.
No, not at all. And I don't think many issues are sold. As far as I know, it's got a very low print run at the moment because people haven't ordered enough, and there is no reprints, and there aren't any back orders this time for this one. It's got a one hit pony, a little bit like Deceased was when it first came out.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah,
there we go.
Okay, so this one isn't technically a key, as it were. Like, there's not anything specifically that happens in it that's going to make it a key comic. But I picked this one purely for a cover by. The cover is by Chris Anker, and this is absolutely stunning. I love these color bleed covers. We've had David Nakayama on the show. He does amazing cover bleed stuff. We've looked at J. Scott Campbell's cover bleeds. They were great. Taylor, just how do you say? Is it Justin Taylor, Justin Taylor job?
John Tyler Christopher.
John Tyler Christopher. Thank you, Andy. Who does the cover bleed stuff? They're incredible. So I picked this one purely for the fact that it's the cover. So I mean, the story itself, I think, is supposed to be really nice and really quite a good story at the moment, because he's changed his outfit. He's kind of trying to get his own identity at the moment, Miles Morales. He's kind of trying to come away from Peter Parker's Spider-Man. He's trying to make himself, he's Miles Morales. It's his Spider-Man. He isn't Peter Parker. So I think it's a really good story that's going on. But like I said, this is purely a cover buy for me, and I'll put it up there.
Did you order any spare of these, Tom?
Well, yeah, maybe.
Maybe put one away for me, please.
Maybe just one or two.
How many did I order? Probably about 5.
Yeah, I think, as far as I'm aware, there's about 15 that Charlie ordered of this book, because he asked me to order one. Then about a week later, he asked me to order another one. Then about a week later, he asked me to order one, and I was like,
"You know what you do? You know when I tell you that, I say, have you added this to my list?" You're like, no. Full, I've probably added 10.
Yeah,
yeah, he's just like that.
But yeah, there we go. Ooh.
Okay, yeah. So this one is a key, because this is the first one of the new books coming out for the Thing. This is his next solo series, just him on his Jack Jones, written by Walter Mosley and art by Tom Rayleigh. This one is a key because it's got 2 first appearances in it. You've got the first appearance of Amelis, described as the Thing's brand spanking new love, like he's about to fall in love all over again. I don't know if this one is blind. I know the last one he got married to was a blind lady. I can't remember her name though. That's gonna now really bug me. And also in this issue, you get a brand spanking new villain called Burlesque, so that should be interesting too. Also, I think Marvel are pushing the Thing as a character. I don't know whether or not
TV show.
I believe there's going to be a TV show, and I don't think it's going to be a Fantastic Four TV show. I think it's going to be a Thing TV show to then lead into a Fantastic Four film. They're just kind of dipping their toes by using the everyone's blue eye favorite Thing.
Is this a homage cover?
I don't know, mate. I thought it was, and then I couldn't think of what it was.
Feels like I've seen it before. Can't put my finger on it.
I don't know if it's a Hulk cover. I don't know.
I like it though.
It is cool.
I really, really like that. I'm not really a massive Fantastic Four fan, but I'd like to read about the Thing.
I'm not a huge Fantastic Four fan, but when the Thing joined Guardians of the Galaxy, I think that was the Donny Cates run. That was so good. He was amazing, and I really liked him as a character. And then I think the Empire issue, where they bring the Fantastic Four back together and they go and they meet the 2 new kids, the Skrull and the what they're called. Oh, what's Captain Marvel part of?
Kree?
Marvel.
Oh, the
Kree,
Kree.
yeah.
The
So they
Kree,
meet
that's
the
it.
Skrull and the Kree child, and they save him from that gladiatorial planet. That was the best part of Empire. That one shot was the best part of Empire, and it was a Fantastic Four story.
Mhm.
I did love that. That was great.
This does look good. This cover's great, though. It is great.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four is really underappreciated for me, but I think so many of the stories that we see at the minute and that we're watching, that they have Fantastic Four are involved, and obviously we're getting the Fantastic Four movie as well. I would pick up all your Fantastic Four books now before they skyrocket in value.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when we see Doctor Doom. As soon as we see Doctor Doom, probably one of the best villains out there.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And anything that happens now, because Disney obviously own all the bits and bobs
Yeah.
to that, it's all going to be
X-Men.
canon from now on, isn't it? It's all canon in the Marvel universe.
Mhm.
Whatever they do next. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, get on the X-Men keys, 100%. That is coming. Definitely.
Andy, I think Tim's talking about the 1 in 25 drop cover for Catwoman for you, mate.
Legend.
And Fuzzy Dunlop has said this is my favourite Marvel character. Boy's got it going on. I can't disagree with you, mate. I think he has.
Yeah, he's cool. I've always thought the thing's cool, always. But I hate they always put him in a fight against the Hulk.
Mhm.
I just think you can't match him up. Hulk gets stronger when he's angry, so he's always going to probably beat the thing in pure strength. However, the thing is far smarter when Hulk is in rage.
If they could team him and Korg up,
Yeah,
that would be
wicked.
there's
Yeah.
a comic.
The Comic Room. Thanks for joining, sir. I haven't seen you in a while. The Thing cover reminds me of a series of ASM covers around issues 617 with the Rhino smashing through the cover.
It could be what we're thinking of, Andy. To be fair.
I think that is quite similar.
Definitely seen it before. I think the Hulk cover that you're talking about. I think the Hulk #1 had the exact same cover as this.
Yeah. It's a nice cover, though. It's going to be a good cover to read. And then last but not least.
Yeah, so the last one is obviously one that we were talking about earlier on in the show. So this is the Strange Academy presents The Death of Doctor Strange. And this is a kind of link-in book for The Death of Doctor Strange. And it is a key. It's not a first appearance, so it's a very minor key. But it's a key because it's going to give you a lot more information on who has possibly killed the Doctor Strange. So it is a must pick up if you're reading The Death of Doctor Strange, because you're going to need to know this kind of information. Written by Scott Young, obviously, who is just absolutely killing it with Strange Academy. I mean, it's one of my favorite books, and I like the fact that they're thinking outside the box with Marvel characters. I love that. Artwork by Demundo. He's incredible. The artwork is also insane. So yeah, can't recommend this one enough, guys.
I love Strange Academy. I'm not a massive fan of Strange Academy. I love the fact that this is tying into Doctor Strange and it's kind of opening up its own universe, multiverse, as it were. Yeah. It's great. I love the fact that I love the way that they're doing this.
I have a feeling, or I have a theory, that if they don't put X-Men into the MCU because of the whole political situation and the fact that who owns what, they'll do this one first because they own the rights to every single one of these characters.
Yeah. Tom, I think you've
Smashed it.
I think you have smashed it, but
I think it's I don't know if you're in the chat or in the comments, let me know if you prefer the way I'm doing it this time around, where I'm picking books that I would like you guys to read that I like, rather than me go, well, this is a first appearance and that's a first appearance and this is a key book for the fact that this guy takes a fart for the first time. I kind of picking books that I personally want to read because I think it's a key comic and I've read it on the Key app and I'm like, right, okay, that's cool. That is something I want to read. I'm excited about. That's a cover I'm excited about, and I want to bring that to you.
Is the first fart issue #2?
This issue, yeah.
No, but I think I like the way that you're doing it because obviously, like a key for anyone could be like it's a first appearance or it's do you know what I mean? I'd keep doing what you're doing. I agree with that.
Thanks, Charlie.
But
Thanks,
I think I've got to say that it's now time for the internet's favourite intro from one of the favourite and genuine guys on YouTube.
Is it still in the chat?
I hope so, because
this is Andy's fault from Perpetual Comics. Pep.
fucking kills me every time. The timing is perfect. Pep.
I messaged him today. I messaged him today, and I was like, "The video you put on YouTube is amazing." I said, I just want to make sure that you're happy with us using your intro for Andy's thing because it's such amazing." He was like, "It's my pleasure. Absolutely love it." So
That's awesome.
it was awesome.
I think we all need a bit of Triple G at the start of any intro we have.
100%.
Yeah. We should get him to do all our intros. I think,
Yeah.
I think that's the way forward. We should commission him for all our intros. So yes, first of all, thanks to everybody in the chat for sticking with us. I know this has run a little bit longer, but I hope everybody's enjoying the show so far. And if you haven't already done so, I'd appreciate if you could hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you've not already subscribed, especially for the people watching it in the replay.
Or if you're putting a thumbs down, leave a comment.
Yeah, let us know why.
Comment. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Leave a comment. It all helps. It's all good.
Whatever floats your boat.
We don't mind a bit of criticism because we can work on it and we can work with that and do better.
But yeah, whatever floats the boat or sinks the ship, we're still here. You're still here. Let's crack on.
Killer Indies for November 3rd. Let's go. First up, we have Silver Coin issue number 6, and this is back. So it took a little bit of a hiatus. This one, it was only originally meant to be a 5-issue arc, and they decided because it was so popular and because it has been so well received, and let's face it, the stories are fantastic, that they were going to extend this at least for I think another 6 issues, and I think it might just be ongoing now. So this is issue number 6, as I said, and the art again is by Michael Walsh. So Michael does all the art for all the books, and then he gets a writer to come and guest basically and do their own story. So in this particular issue, it's the new Batman writer, it's Joshua Williamson that is going to be writing this one. And dare I say it, I think it's issue number 7 is going to be Ram V, our friend of the show, is going to be writing it. So this cover for me is so. This is what lured me into this book as well, because I'll admit after issue 5, it automatically stopped on my pull list, and as soon as I seen this cover on previews, I picked it right back up again because every single issue of this has been worth the read, and especially issue number 5 because it brought everything together and it gave you that sort of backstory to what the coin was all about. So read issue number 5 if you've not read any other issues, and then dive into issue number 6.
Andy, do you think, because obviously Joshua Williamson is the new Batman writer, I've just noticed it might be a little nod towards the Batman that he's got coming up, because
With
the
Bitman.
Bitman.
Yeah,
it's pretty,
yeah.
It's pretty cool, that, isn't it? That's pretty decent.
And then you've got on the left-hand side the Nailbiter as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was involved in the Nailbiter. He could have been, but yeah, I think these are all gentle nods to books. But this got me in the sort of like nostalgia, just seeing those game machines and stuff like that. So I'll be all in for this cover. And this is
I think it was when you reviewed. I think when you picked issue number 4. I think on your indie picks a few weeks ago. I jumped straight into it. Loved it. Loved the fact that it all focuses around one silver coin. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's the journey of that coin, and it's different. I love the fact that it's different writers as well, but it's the same artist. So how Michael Walsh is able to interpret that every writer's different understanding of what this coin does, but he interprets it so well. I just think it's superb. So definitely want to be picking up.
Oh, definitely picking that up. What have we got now? Oh, here we go.
Now, this is a new book that sort of caught my fancy. And first of all, it's Chip Zdarsky doing this book. This is an ongoing series, and this is art by Jacob Phillips, an Image comic as well. And I think it is. I'm going to say it's probably about 12 issues. I could be completely wrong here. Somebody tell me in the chat if you can go and check League of Comic Books, but our League of Comic Geeks. But the artwork for this looks absolutely superb, and the story, it's kind of like one of those sort of detective crime noir sort of stories. And to be honest, Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run and his issue number 7 of Crossover, that's all you really need to read to fall in love with the stuff that he does.
He's incredible.
I think this is another one, Andy, that you've picked. I'm going to be like, I'm going to have to read this now because he's picked it, and then actually really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think I might have. This has to be one of our sort of reads, at least issue 1, just to see what it's like, because normally Chip starts with a bang on any stuff that he does.
Yeah, indeed.
Next up is Laura and Other Stories, issue number 1. This is written in art and cover art by Guillaume Mach, I think is how you pronounce his surname, who will also be at Thought Bubble. So if you want to pick this up and get it signed at Thought Bubble and get it,
And he's got a new art book as well that I think he's showing on the day.
Yeah. So I think we'll try and maybe have a chat with Guillaume when we get there, because I'd love to maybe just go live on our Instagram or something like that and have a chat with him just to see what he's got planned for this book, because it just looks really, really interesting, really intriguing. And again, it's a Blaze that is doing this series of books, so it's maybe one of those ones that your retailers maybe not ordered a huge amount of them in. So if you want to pick this up, make sure that you're contacting them and getting it on your pull list.
Definitely. And then
Yeah.
There we go. Now this was delayed. If you remember, this was on last week's slides.
Yeah.
I think I've just found my cover pick for next week.
There we go. It's such a cool cover. So Primordial issue number 2, Jeff Lemire writing and Andrea Sorrentino, who is absolutely killing it on this particular issue and a few other books that we've been reviewing. This was delayed last week. Everybody knows there's huge amount of delays, specifically with Image Comics at the minute, for paper and various other reasons. But we read issue number 1. It was fantastic, and I'm all about the talking dogs.
Issue number 2, Primordial. Looking forward to this one. Great cover.
I actually am picking that cover next week. That is an amazing cover.
There we go.
There's like 7 or 8 different covers that we could pick. They're just all they're absolute bangers. So there.
I'm having that one.
Again, another book that was delayed is Rush, issue number 1, written by Simon Spurrier and Nathan Gooden on art. And yes, I'm intrigued by this one. This is kind of in the old Yukon America, and it's got big spiders, and that's what completely sold it to me. I'm all in. I'm going to read the first issue, see what it's like. Again, it's Vault Comics. If you haven't already pre-ordered it, I would imagine there's not going to be a huge amount of issues on the rack, so make sure that you ask your retailer to pick this one up for you if you're interested.
This is the one I mentioned last week about tying, like it kind of looks like similar to Mercy, Mirka Andolfo's Mercy.
Yeah.
Oh, Mercy's so good. Have you read Mercy, Andy?
It's great.
Yes.
It's great.
Superb.
It's so good.
Lovely Jenny Friss on covers as well for issue number 1.
I think I picked up a few of them, to be fair. Probably did. But Andy, that was great. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. It's been a wicked show. It has been a wicked show. And then obviously you would have noticed throughout the slides, on all the slides, we have our QR codes. You can scan it. It'll take you to either our YouTube or our Instagram, where you can find us, drop us DMs if you want to know anything about the covers, comics, Killer Keys, anything else.
Please do. Please go to my Instagram. I don't have a YouTube channel. Instagram.com/perpetual.comics. And I'm also on Twitter at Perpetual Comics. So please come and follow me.
He does. I think Spirit does write some great books, and he's such a lovely bloke. He is indeed. Cool. But then, obviously, we're getting to the end of the show now, and it is the Killer Comic Show sneak peek. So we just give you guys that are still in the chat a sneak peek of what comics we will be reviewing next week, and then on tomorrow we will pick the 4th comic, and we will drop it on the community tab on YouTube, and you can pick the 4th comic for us to read, as we did last week. But up first, we have It Wouldn't Be Halloween if I wasn't to go down memory lane and pick Batman The Long Halloween Special. This is obviously The Long Halloween, fantastic comic, but not all the secrets are what they seem to be, and they don't stay hidden for much longer. So very much looking forward to reading this one next week. Tom?
Oh, yeah. So, our first spin-off series from Gunslinger Spawn, who spanned out of the Spawn comics. I'm looking forward to this one. This one was delayed. But actually, issue 1, cover A, is still delayed, but cover issue B, the Todd McFarlane cover, is out if you want to go and get it of this one. And I'm really looking forward to reading this, because you get a little bit of his backstory and how he became Gunslinger Spawn.
And there we go. Look, Andy picked him up today. I'm glad you've picked this, because I haven't, other than reading King Spawn, I haven't read a Spawn comic. And I think if John Boy Maz was to hear me say that, it'd strike me down with one of them swords that he draws so well. But I'm looking forward to reading this.
I'm about to strike you down. I can't believe you tell me that you've not read much 2000 AD, you've not read much Spawn. Like,
But that was a little thing. Like you sent me this because I said I haven't read it, so I haven't read any Spawn.
Right, I hear what you're saying, Charlie.
No one sends me shit, so I don't read anything.
Subliminally. But that's Tom's pick, and then last but no least, we have. She was in the chat earlier. The
Latoya
fantastic
Morgan was in the
Latoya Morgan.
chat. Dark Blood. This is my pick. Dark Blood, issue number 4. There's a handful of comics that I really look forward to when they come up, and this is going to be my pick at least until the end of the arc. And I hope there's a second arc for this, but really looking forward to seeing where this story progresses, because issue number 3 was an absolute banger.
It was. I
Indeed.
think it's been absolutely fantastic. Really looking forward to this. Guys, that has been an epic show. It's been fantastic. It was wicked. And let me just, I know what you're going to say. Let me just touch on, should we touch on who won the cover of the week? Is that what you want to know? Okay, right. So it started off well. I thought I was in with a chance. But in third place, we have Moon Knight with 13%. In second place, we have Wolverine with 37%. And that's all for tonight, folks. It's been a fantastic show. We will see you next week. But Andy has won again with Wonder Woman, his Rose Besh cover, 1 in 25 variant, and he's got 50% of the votes. So, Andy, I'll take my hat off to you, mate, with this hat head.
Guys, there's no winning in this team. This is a team effort. We're all winners here. And huge thanks to the chat for sticking with us for 2 hours and 21 minutes. We really do appreciate it. And we hope you enjoyed the show.
Honestly, massive thanks to Tim we've had on with his wealth of knowledge for CBCS. Really looking forward to touching base with him and getting him a drink at Thought Bubble and have him witness some of the comments we're going to get signed. We've got so much planned for next year. We've got giveaways from CBCS. We've got giveaways from Tom. We've got giveaways from Jeremy Holt. We'll have Jeremy Holt back on the show. It's going to be fantastic. Thank you so much for staying with us for, as Andy said, nearly over 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's been great. It's been a really enjoyable show. Andy wins again, and me and Tom leave with nothing. Or do we? No, we don't. We leave with the fact that this is the show for the people, and this is wicked. We enjoy doing this every single Thursday night. We enjoy spending time with you guys, and thank you to every single one of you that has spent the 2 hours with us Muppets on a Thursday night. We shall see you next Thursday. It's enjoyable. Have a great weekend. And as Andy said, it's been another killer show. Thank you very much. James Clapham, thank you, show. Thank you, show. Thank you so much for joining. It's been great. Chris Bell, honestly, we really do enjoy doing it, guys. Have a fantastic weekend. And we shall see you next week. And Tom, what do we normally say?
Stay safe, stay sexy, guys.